Folks, it's almost 2 o'clock in the morning on Sunday. My battery's about to die, so I'm going to make this quick. I don't know how many people follow my videos or not, but I've mentioned in some of my previous videos about how about 12 to 15 years ago, I had a prophetic dream that was very clear, and I can still see it clear as day today, where I was at a summer party somewhere down near the shore in Connecticut, towards the end of summer, mid to end of summer. It was either a 4th of July party or a Labor Day party. And I was outside in the front yard of this house near the ocean. I can kind of see the ocean maybe a block away. It was the east coast of Connecticut. And all of a sudden, 3 missiles flew overhead. 3 nuclear missiles that hit America. The first one was all white with a big red dot on it. That is turned out in my research to be the Japanese flag. The second one was all red with a yellow crescent moon and a yellow 5-point star. I thought it was the Iranian flag because later on that day, after I woke up, I was watching the news and there was Islam or Iran and Turkey or whatever, and it was on the news and they were waving that exact flag. So I'm like, oh, it must be Iran. We're always in conflict over there in the Middle East and Iran. And weren't they responsible for the 9/11 and whatever, right? Attacks? So I'm like, okay, that must be the Iranian flag or whatever. And then the third one was all black with a big white 5-point star on it. And then all of a sudden in the dream, the white star turned into multiple, like 50 smaller white stars all over the all black background. And I didn't understand what that meant. Sorry, I gotta plug in my phone, hold on. And in the dream, my sister and I were outside and we saw this and we ran back into the party to tell my parents and everybody what happened. And so all of a sudden everybody decided, my parents decided, no, we're gonna go home. You know, they got in their car, they ran to their cars and they were gonna drive home. And I'm like, wait, what are you doing? Why are you going home? It's too late. Those nukes are about to hit any minute. We're all going to be vaporized. Might as well stay here. And they're like, no, we want to go home. We want to be at home when it happens. And I'm like, but you're going to be driving in the direction that the nukes just went. Why don't you just stay here? You're not going to make it home in time. And they left. They got in their car and they left. And I'm like, okay. So I decided, you know what? There's not enough time. What's the point of, trying to drive home and go head towards the nuclear blast? Like, it's all over. And so I decided, you know what, I'm just going to go in. And I went inside the house and there was like a screened in porch with a big Venetian table of food and all these decadent desserts. So I loaded up my plate and I said, you know what, I'm going to be dead in a few minutes anyway. I'm going to enjoy one last dessert, whatever. And then I woke up. And that dream that and a few others never left my mind. So I immediately started trying to research, and I've still over the years been trying to figure it out. And I couldn't figure out until maybe a couple of years ago that I thought that the all-black nuclear missile with the big white star on it represented Russia, because I could have sworn I saw on the news that Russia had big black nukes on them, big black missiles with white stars on them, big white 5-point stars. But then, recently, about a couple years ago, I realized, wait a minute, America, it might be an American missile, because I remember the old army, before we started getting into the what do you call it, the camouflage and stuff that we wear today. Like, we're going back to the 80s and earlier, maybe Vietnam. They used to just wear all green, and their tanks, all of their tanks and army jeeps used to just be all green, like a dark green, with a big white star on them, on the doors, on the side of the tanks. And I know this because I did a photo shoot years ago in my 20s at the Brantford Armory, and there's a big tank outside, and it's all green, and on both sides are a big white 5-pointed star. And then I remember seeing shows like MASH, M-A-S-H, from the 80s and stuff like that, and other shows, and they all had the helmet with the white star and white stars on the Jeep doors, on their Jeep Wranglers, and on their tanks. So I'm like, okay, it's got to be the American military. So, so I'm thinking, okay, we did get in a war with Japan already, right? Pearl Harbor. Then I'm like, okay, and so that was on our soil, okay? Then the next one was all red with the yellow crescent moon and the yellow 5-point star. And I'm like, okay, that means Iran or the Middle East. 9/11, that was also an attack on our soil, supposedly from Iran or Pakistan or whatever, like the Middle East, Muslims. So I'm like, okay, we're always at conflict with them. And then I'm like, but the third missile was all black with the big white star. And I'm like, that must mean that it's America, or Vietnam, because I just found out tonight that the Vietnamese flag is all black with a big white star on it. But there's other versions too I'm noticing where it's all red with a big yellow 5-point star on it. So maybe it's not Vietnam, or not. Maybe their flag is now red with a yellow star, but maybe it used to be black with a white star on it. I don't know. So I was thinking, okay, that makes sense. Pearl Harbor, Vietnam, and 9/11 or whatever. Okay, major conflicts, whatever. But in the dream, I remember thinking in the dream that red missile must be Russia. It must be Russia. And often in a lot of my dreams where there's nukes going off and big mushroom clouds, I always hear in the background, Russia did it, Russia did it. Like I saw a place like Rome or the Vatican or whatever with a big nuclear blast. Me and my family were there. It looked like Vatican City or whatever, and I saw this big mushroom flag go off. It looked like it was like St. Peter's Square or something, and I heard, Russia did it, Russia did it. I always hear that in the background of most of the dreams with these nukes going off. And yes, I've had a lot of them. And so I'm thinking, okay, in the dream I was like, Russia? Maybe it's Russia. So, but then I found out, I'm like, no, the Russian flag is a hammer and sickle. It's red with a yellow hammer and sickle. Sometimes with a crescent moon or whatever. Or a red star with gold, gold bordered star with a crescent, a sickle. Looks like a crescent moon. So I'm like, I must be getting that confused. Maybe it is Russia. And I'm like, nah, that's the Turkey flag. So then later on I realized, no, that's also the Turkey flag. Yellow, all red with a yellow, crescent moon and a yellow 5-point star. So I'm like, okay, I know it has something to do with the Middle East, whatever, okay. But then tonight I started researching again. Because I'm like, wait, if that dream, why would I have a dream? First of all, I never saw that flag before. Before that dream, I had never laid eyes. I recognized the Japanese flag, but I had never seen a black flag with a white 5-pointed star on it. And in the dream also, the missile was all black with a white 5-point star on it, but then in the dream, the missile, the white star turned into multiple, like 50 smaller white 5-point stars all over it. And I'm like, what does that mean? Multiple attacks, multiple missiles? Is it going to affect every state of the United States, all 50 states? Is it an American missile? I don't understand. Why? It can't be, because why would there be a nuclear missile that's American nuclear warhead flying over the U.S., hitting the U.S.? That wouldn't make sense. Why would the U.S. bomb itself? Unless it's like a false flag event, or they're going to blame it on someone else. But, so it still never made sense. I'm like, okay. So in the dream, I thought that the red missile with the yellow 5-point star and the yellow crescent moon on it was Iran or the Middle East, Muslim, Islam, whatever, Turkey, that whole area, because we were always in conflict over there. Desert Storm, and even today. And then so I figured that the black missile with the white star on it turning into multiple white stars must be Russia. But then I'm like, well, but the Russian flag is not black with a white star on it. The only thing that's close to that, again, to my knowledge at the time, is the U.S. But tonight I was doing more research, and I found out that the black flag, the black missile with a white star, could possibly be Vietnam, or the Vietnamese flag. And so I'm like, okay, now let's revisit the dream. Japan, Iran or Turkey, okay, Middle East, and Vietnam. Okay, we had Pearl Harbor, that war, that makes sense. We had the conflict, Desert Storm and all these, and 9/11 and all that, that makes sense, the red missile. So the black missile must be Vietnam, okay, so that's another war that we had, okay. So this dream is about major wars that America fought from the past? No, because I've never seen, especially 12 to 15 years ago, I never saw ever in my life until after the dream a all red flag with a yellow 5-point star and a yellow crescent moon on it. I never saw that in my life until I watched the news later on that afternoon after the dream, and I saw it on the news, and it had something to do with Iran and Islam and whatever over there, so Turkey, whatever. And so I'm like, oh, okay, wow. So that's when I knew my dream was prophetic, and it was actually not just a dream, it was real, because I never saw that before, but I saw it in the dream. And then I'm like, okay, so it's definitely not Russia then, because you're right, that's got a hammer and a sickle on it. So I thought. So I'm like, so my thought that came to me in the dream that the red missile was Russia must be wrong. So I'm like, okay, Japan, Iran, and so the black missile must be Russia. That's what I was thinking 12, 15 years ago after the dream. But now I'm still researching this. I'm still trying to get the pieces to the puzzle. And I started realizing that, okay, a couple years ago, about a year ago, I realized, because this dream, something keeps telling me, reminding, this dream keeps going over in my head, like, pay attention to that dream. Why? I don't even know what it means. Pay attention to the season that it occurred in. Pay attention. And I'm like, okay, but it doesn't make sense, because, okay, we're in conflict right now with Russia again. We're always in conflict with the Middle East and the Arab, the Muslims and Iran and all that. Okay, but the black one, what is that? America still doesn't make sense, and unless it's Vietnam. But no, what does that have anything to do with it? That's long since over with. So it can't be a dream talking about conflicts of the past. It had to be a prophetic dream of things that were yet to come. But then I'm like, okay, Lord, it still doesn't make sense though. Why Japan? What does Japan have to do? I know that a lot of biblical prophets are saying that there's going to be a war between America, Russia, and China. I know that Russia and China are going to supposedly be a problem for America and attack America and maybe even nuke and invade America. But what does that have to do with Japan? So I'm like, are you sure that's the Japanese flag? Maybe it has something to do with North Korea. Similar, but no. It's the Japanese flag. And I'm like, okay, so maybe Japan is going to join Russia and China because they still might have it out for us after that war. You know what I mean? After Pearl Harbor, because we defeated them. But maybe there's still some animosity, or maybe there's going to be another conflict in the near future over tariffs or something. Who knows? All I know is that it was pretty clear. Japan and the other two were, what I found out tonight, and it took a lot of research, that flag is not necessarily Turkey or Iran. in the dream, that red missile. It turns out that the only flag that really makes sense was either the Ottoman Empire, which has to do with Soviet Union, Russia, and then further research tonight revealed that there was, in fact, a Russian flag. It was the original Soviet Union flag, not the new one of today. It was the original Soviet Republic or whatever flag. And that was a red crescent, a red flag with a yellow crescent moon and a yellow 5-point star. So guess what that means, folks? That red missile with the yellow crescent moon and the yellow 5-point star on it was in fact Russia. I'm still a little confused about the black missile with the white star on it, which turned into 50 multiple stars on it, like 50 little white stars on it. I will get to the bottom of this, or we're going to see it unfold. However, during my research, I noticed something else. I figured, well, maybe it's China. Maybe China has black missiles with a white star on it, right? I'm going to have to do some more research. Maybe, I don't know what people's nuclear warheads look like. I'm sure they don't all have them painted like their country flag. I mean, America doesn't send nukes that look like red, white, and blue, Star Spangled Banner on it that I know of. So I'm like, okay. I did also over the years uncover photos on the internet of warheads, nuclear warheads from America that were all black with a white star on them. And I'm like, okay. So we have Japan, Russia or Iran, whatever that was, which turns out to be the Soviet Union. So that was the Cold War, remember? With the Soviets and Cuba, the Cuban Missile Crisis and all that. So I know for sure the first missile represented Japan. What that has to do with the end times or what's yet to come, I have no idea. I guess we'll have to find out. If Japan starts joining with Russia and China, we're in trouble. And I know the second missile is in fact Russia now. So the third missile is either Vietnam, which I doubt very much Vietnam is going to get back involved again. It doesn't make sense. So it's not Vietnam. It is either America. But again, why would they bomb or nuke their own country? Unless those nukes just represented the three main conflict nations, the three nations that are going to be in conflict. But I don't think so. Now I'm starting to think that black missile was China. Because in my research tonight, while researching the Ottoman flag and its ties to Russia and Iran, I said, well, what if there was, what does the Chinese flag look like? So I looked at the flag for China, and it was all red with 5-point stars on it. One big yellow 5 points, so all red flag with a one big yellow 5-point star, and then 4 smaller yellow 5-point stars in a C shape, in a crescent moon. So you got this big star and a little one like that. And I'm like, okay, I've never seen that before. I never knew what the Chinese flag looked like. So it is Russia colluding with China, coming together with China against America. And that's why in the dream, the one white star on the all-black missile suddenly turned into multiple smaller white stars. Because on the China flag, It's all red with a yellow 5-point star, and then 4 smaller yellow 5-point stars in a shape of a crescent. In the dream 12, 15 years ago, I probably wouldn't have understood all of that. So I still don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure that that's what that means. If it doesn't mean that, then the only other thing that I've left out so far in this conversation is one more possibility. And again, it could mean that if that black missile in the dream, that black nuclear warhead, was representing America, then the reason the star went from one white star, one big white 5-point star, so that I would, in my research, realize that it is America, because we used to have that big white 5-point star on our tanks and military jeeps and helmets and stuff many years ago, and maybe even on our nukes. But if it does represent America, then it multiplied into smaller stars, and it literally looked like the 50 stars that are on the United States of America flag, the American flag. And so that, if that's the case, what it's telling me, what God's telling me in the dream, is it's going to affect all 50 states of America. So even though there's only 3 missiles hitting America in the dream, and that couldn't possibly wipe out the entire United States, because you got Alaska and Hawaii and Puerto Rico, which is technically the 51st state, but anyway. And we also have a lot of we also have a lot of territories, U.S. territories, the U.S. Virgin Islands and some other territories around the world that a lot of people don't even think about, that are under U.S. They belong to the United States of America. So our flag flies there, and we govern them. We own them. Like St. Croix and the U.S. Virgin Islands and all that stuff. And there's other places too. Guam is another one. You never hear that taught in school, but yeah, we own a lot of U.S. territories outside, abroad. So anyway, so I would assume if America was ever taken over by Russia and China or whatever, they would also plant their flag on all of our U.S. territories and islands all around the world. Anything that belongs to the U.S. would no longer belong to the U.S. It would belong to whoever takes over the U.S. I don't like talking about this because it's very scary, but there's a lot of prophets out there over the years saying that this is going to happen, and my dreams are showing me that it's going to happen, and I believe the Bible says it's going to happen. So, I mean, you got in Revelation, the dragon, which I always thought represented either Satan, the Antichrist, or China, because they always have a dragon, right, represent them. And then the bear. Of course, the bear represents Russia. What else would it represent? But some people say the dragon represents Satan or the Antichrist, and the bear represents the false prophet, whoever that's going to be. Some people say the Pope and Rome, whatever. Some people say it's somebody else. It could, who knows? And they come together, and the eagle represents, according to most people's interpretation, the eagle always represented America in the book of Revelation, or Mystery Babylon the Great, and the dragon and the bear rip the wings off of the eagle, and the eagle falls. That would obviously kill the eagle. That would, if its wings were ripped off. But the eagle has long been associated also with Germany and with the Roman Empire. So it could represent the new Holy Roman Empire. It could represent Rome. And so, also, I do believe that Rome is supposed to fall as well in the end times, or the Vatican City or whatever. So I don't think anybody knows for sure. We just have to see it play out. But most Bible scholars, I think, conclude or concur together that the eagle now represents America, the bear Russia, and the dragon China. And the Antichrist is going to be behind. The devil is the one behind all of this anyway. He's the one that's going to make Russia, attack, and China attack. He's the one that's always behind war and all that. God allows it. But a lot of prophets are also saying that God is the one that's going to use Russia and China to attack America, or to destroy Mystery Babylon the Great in an hour. She will fall in an hour, or whatever. So, I don't know. But the Blessed Mother also warned in the Fatima apparitions, if we don't stop sinning, a worse war, a third world war, will take place. It will be the last. And also God has some serious chastisements that could be averted or lessened if we repent and pray the rosary. And especially if the Pope consecrates Russia to the Immaculate Heart of Mary. It was never done properly. Never. And so, because it wasn't done properly, you can expect the Blessed Mother's apparition, the warning she gave at Fatima, to come to pass. You can expect Russia to spread its errors around the globe. Now, back then in 1830, she was talking about communism. Some people say, "Oh, communism's done with the USSR, the fall of the Berlin Wall." Russia's now a Christian Orthodox republic. They're not. They're more republic. They're not. They're more like Democrat. Republic, presidential, like America. They're not. They're no longer communist. But the second largest ruling power in Russia, or branch of government, is still communism. So it's not gone. It will rear up again. Communism is socialism and Marxism. They're all the same. And what they do is take away your rights to freedom, to own your own homes and property and all that stuff. There's no capitalism in communism. And so it would be a socialist communist government again, or a socialist communist takeover, a Marxist takeover again, a Leninism or whatever takeover, according to the Blessed Mother, in these end times. China is communist. And they're a very serious force to be reckoned with. So, you better believe that if China ever took over America or attacked America, communism, and we lost or fell to China, and they outnumber us like, what is it? Their soldiers are 100 or 1,000 to 1. For every one U.S. soldier, they outnumber us by, I think, 100 to 1 or 1,000 to 1. And Russia's not far behind. And next to America, the greatest superpower, the one who holds the most nukes, are Russia, and then guess what? China. So we are the three superpowers: America, Russia, and China. And some would even say that Russia is now more powerful than America, or America and China put together. So I don't know. Again, I'm not much into politics nor history, so I could only go by what little I have learned in my life. And honestly, I trust my dreams and the Bible way more than I trust what's written in textbooks and political opinions. So, all I know, folks, something's coming. According to my dreams, if my dreams are indeed prophetic, and I believe they are, because I've had many of them, And a lot of the stuff in my dreams have come to pass in the past. And my visions, when I've had visions, like, I guess that's what you would call it, like, one minute I'm walking and talking, and next minute all of a sudden I'm somewhere else in the future, and I'm standing there seeing everything play, almost like, what would you call it, remote viewing or something? It's more than deja vu. I get a lot of deja vu too, but this is like, it rarely happens. It rarely happens, but when it does, it is so detailed and clear. It's really happening, like I'm somehow in the future. And seeing everything in exact detail. And then shortly after, I snap out of it, and whoever's with me is like, hello, Steve, what happened? You zoned out. I would love to be able to see what I look like when this happens. Do I just like stop and like a deer in headlights and be like, or am I still walking when it's happening? Am I still talking when it's happening? I don't know. But the only people who have seen this happen are Jeannie, and she passed away of cancer in 2017, and my father, who passed away of cancer in 2013. The first time I had that experience, I was with Jeannie. It was a Sunday or Saturday, I believe maybe Saturday afternoon. And I don't know, some weekday. And I worked at night. I used to work at a bar, and I was working from like 5 p.m. to like 7 a.m. because by the time we closed and cleaned up and restocked the bar and all that stuff, and then hung around and got breakfast or whatever with the rest of the staff, I wouldn't get home till like 7, 9 o'clock. It's between 7 and 9 a.m. But anyway, I worked third shift most of my life. One day, I had to get a bunch of green scapulars because I promised people at work that I promised 7 people that I would have them by my next work shift. I would give it to them. I think it was a Friday actually, because it was Friday evening, and so Thursday evening I promised these people. I said, "Are you going to be here tomorrow? I will make sure I get 7 blessed green scapulars for you. I promise." Because I told them the whole story at work about and I don't have time to get into it right now, but all the miracles that have happened since the Blessed Mother got me this green scapular. And they all wanted one. So I'm like, okay. And whenever people asked for them, I would always usually go and get them. There's only been like 2 occasions in my life where I didn't get them in time or forgot, and one person died, unfortunately, before I got it to him, and the other one moved away and I've never seen her again. My Russian friend, Vika, I don't even know how to pronounce her last name. I call her cornucopia or whatever. It was I can't even pronounce it. Anyway, so me and Jeannie had plans to go to, I think we had reservations at Madison Beach Hotel, restaurant, or whatever. But I said, well, first I have to go to Our Lady of Grace Monastery in Guilford, and I have to go to the gift shop that the nuns run. I need to get 7 green scapulars before tonight. And then I got to go see my priest, and he's going to bless him before I go to work. And Jeannie's like, all right, well, hurry up, make it quick, whatever. So we went there, and they didn't have any left. I went to the gift shop, and I'm like, oh, man, I really needed them. And so I'm sorry, we're all out, whatever. So before we left, I said, Jeannie, before we go, I got to go pray quickly. She goes, Stephen, come on, hurry up. I got to get work done tonight, and, for my father, and we have reservations, so hurry up. So I got on my knees on the grass in front of the Infant of Prague statue, and behind it is Our Lady of Fatima. It's like a garden with Our Lady of Fatima statue and the 3 shepherd kids kneeling in front of her, and then at the bottom is the Infant of Prague. And I just said, I'm like, Jesus, Mary, I came all the way out here. I really needed those scapulars. I needed 7 of them. I have to bring them to the people at work tonight. I promised you. I promised. Blessed Mother, I'm trying to do this for you. All of a sudden, Jeannie's like, Steve, come on. We got to go. Hurry up now. She loved doing that. She was always impatient. Rush, rush, rush. All of a sudden, I have a vision. And in the vision, I'm walking back to the car with Jeannie, and I'm telling her about how I had a vision, clear as day, that while we're walking to the car, as soon as we get to the car, the woman, the clerk in the shop, the gift shop's going to come out to the car and say, hey, come back in, we have the scapulas after all. And we're going to go in, and we're going to stand in front of the desk, and she's going to be having a book in her face, and she's going to be sitting there reading, and we're going to say, well, where are they? And she's going to say, oh, they're coming. And I'm going to say, what do you mean they're coming? You either have them or you don't. And then in the dream, or in the vision, I saw the bookcase open up, and there was a hidden door behind the bookcase. It was like a secret passage. And a nun wearing a gray habit. I think she had a white hood and a gray habit. Now at that time, I only ever saw nuns that were wearing black and white habits. I never saw one in a gray habit. Until I saw the Blessed Mother in real life with Jesus. But that's a whole nother story. She was wearing all gray, just like that nun. Oh my gosh, that's why you did that. Thank you. I just figured out why Mary appeared to me. Wow, all these years later. When I saw Mary in 2018, in an out-of-body experience under anesthesia, and I saw Jesus and Mary, Mary was standing in front of me with her just in the same exact pose as she is on the miraculous medal. Just like that. But she was wearing all gray. I was expecting her to be wearing baby blue and white. But she was wearing an all gray tunic and with white like a white and gray mantle, like the nun, like that nun. It turns out that nun is a Dominican mother or whatever, mother sister or mother abbess, whatever you want to call her, the superior, mother superior. And at the time, she wore a gray habit. Now the sisters wear all like white or something. Some of them wear black and white, some wear white, whatever. I don't know why they keep changing their habit, but at the time they were wearing gray, or that mother superior was wearing gray. It makes sense now. Mary appeared to me not only standing this way because Mary gave me the miraculous medal at age 26. So she was standing as the Lady of the Miraculous Medal, but she was wearing gray because she is Our Lady of Grace. And so I just realized tonight that that's why she was wearing all gray, because she was showing me that she's Our Lady of Grace. And that gift shop was at Our Lady of Grace Monastery and Convent. It's a cloistered nun convent called Our Lady of Grace in Guildford. So but also when I saw Mary, she had a crown it was like a halo of 12 stars just floating, not moving, just floating stagnant in a circle behind her head, like a halo of 12 copper colored, or what I call bronze, like a dark dirt, like a dirty penny, bronze stars, or copper colored stars. They look like the color of a dirty used penny, not a light shiny penny, an old penny. That's what color they were. 12 stars. And I realized that that's because she was crowned in the book of Revelation, okay, and in the Ascension of Mary, where you're in the Rosary, she's crowned with 12 stars. And the Bible talks about the woman crowned with 12 stars upon her head. So I'm like, okay, I understand the stars represent Mary has been crowned with 12 stars in heaven, and she's standing in the posture of the miraculous medal, so I understand that. But I never understood the gray. It's because she also she not only showed up as Our Lady of Revelation from the book of Revelation, with the moon under her feet, crowned with 12 stars, and also Our Lady of the Miraculous Medal, but she also was Our Lady of Grace. Wow. Anyway, I digress. Going back to my vision. So the bookcase opens up, and a nun in a gray habit comes out, and she says to me, I only have 7 left. Is that enough? And I took them out of her hand. I said, that's exactly how many I need. And then the vision ended. So now I go and I start walking back to the car. And that's just like I just saw in the vision. Jeannie said, come on, hurry up. We got to go. And I'm starting to tell her, I just had another one of my visions. And she's like, oh, you and your visions. What was it this time? Blah, blah, blah. And we're walking to the car. I'm like, listen, we got to go back into the shop. She goes, no, we're not going back in there. They don't have any more scapulars. We got to go. We have plans. I'm like, Jeannie, the shopkeeper's going to come out to the car. And I told her exactly what I just told you. I told Jeannie the entire vision. And soon as we get to the car, and I finish telling her about what's going to happen, the shopkeeper comes out and goes, hey, come back in. We actually have him after all. And so soon as I finish telling Jeannie, we get to the car, and the shopkeeper comes out and says that, and Jeannie looks at me like, I don't know why I'm surprised. She goes, wow. She goes, I don't know. You never fail to amaze me. You weren't kidding. And I'm like, yep. So we go in, and we go to the desk, and now the shopkeeper's just sitting there, and she's looking down at a book, and she's just turning the page, and I'm like, okay, so where are they? She goes, oh, they're coming. And Jeannie looks at me, and I look at her, and she goes, Jeannie's looking at me puzzled, like, you said that she was going to do that. You said she was going to say that. And she's smiling, and I'm like, uh-huh. And then all of a sudden, we look over to the bookcase, and the bookcase opens up, and behind the bookcase is a door, a secret door. And a nun in the gray habit comes out, and she's holding the 7 green scapulars, and she goes, I only have 7 left. Is that enough? And I grabbed them from her hand, and I said, thank you so much. Yes, that's exactly how many I needed. And then she goes back in, she shuts the door, and I go up, and I asked the shopkeeper, I'm like, I didn't know there was a door behind there. She goes, oh yeah, there's a secret door behind there. She goes, I'm like, why? Why didn't she just use the regular door? She goes, because they're cloistered nuns and they don't come out in public. So they use that secret door because that goes to our secret office or whatever. And I'm like, well, okay. Why is she dressed in gray? I thought nuns wore black and white. She goes, that's because she's the Mother Superior of the order. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I'm like, okay, so why? How did she end up having 7? She goes, oh, because I called her after you left and told her, and she said, oh, she'll see if she thinks she has a few more left in the back. And she did. She had exactly 7 left. And I'm like, that's exactly how many I prayed for. That's how many I needed. And she said, well, she didn't know that she even had any. She said she thought it was strange that she had them because she didn't remember having any. And then there they were. So that's why I ran out to tell you, hey, we have them. That was a miracle. Then the woman said something else to me, which I thought was strange. Jeannie had said something to her saying, you're not going to believe this, but Steve has gifts. And she's like, what do you mean? She goes, he's got gifts. Like, he's like psychic or something. Because he told me everything that was just about to happen before it happened, like literally word for word, and it all just happened. She goes, I'm still in shock. And the woman's like, I don't know about that. She goes, but she's like, honey, she goes, did you ever try to pray for anybody and have them be healed? And I'm like, what do you mean? She goes, I really feel that you have healing gifts. And I'm like, I never thought of that. I don't know. I don't think so. I don't know. She goes, well, try it. She goes, I just feel really strongly, and I don't know you. She goes, but I really think that there is something special about you, and I believe the Holy Spirit's telling me that you have the gift of healing and intercessory prayer. She goes, so you should start laying hands on people or praying over them and see what happens. just see what happens. I'm like, I don't know about that. I don't really feel like I should do that, because if nothing happens, I'm going to feel like a fool. And she's like, you're not going to know unless you try. It's not going to hurt. All you have to do is say, hey, can I pray for you? And that's it. Leave it up to God. He's the one who does the healing. If you have a gift of healing, or she goes, because you might have a healing ministry, young man. And I'm like, I've never thought of that, and I don't know. I do pray for people. I do see visions and dreams, but I don't know if I heal. She goes, if you have all that, you most likely have the gift of healing too. You should try it. Well, I do pray to the Lord for people when they tell me, oh, and several put it this way, not everybody, and that's why I'm mad at Jeannie, because she knew better, and she lied to me and told me that she had beaten the cancer. So I stopped praying for her. She did not tell me the truth. Her mother told me after she died that she never beat the cancer. She just didn't want me to know, because my father had just died of leukemia and I had a cancer scare, and so she was she didn't want to scare me or bother me or bring up a sore subject, and she didn't want me praying for her. Don't even get me started. I have no idea why Jeannie did that, but she didn't want me worrying about her, and she didn't want me praying for her. So she told me that she had beaten the cancer, but the cancer was not beaten. In fact, she went through like 6 sessions of different kinds of chemotherapy in 2 years, and she ended up dying anyway. They got most of it, I guess, but then it came back super fast, real bad, and it was everywhere. And it was a certain kind of very highly aggressive breast cancer called T something, I don't know. It's very rare, but it's very super aggressive. Like, you never beat that kind, I guess. That's what I remember hearing back in 2017 from her mother. So Jeannie didn't tell me. She should have. I would have prayed for her. Maybe God would have healed her. I was also trying to find Jeannie because I had a wedding ring. I had an engagement ring. I wanted to ask her to marry me. I didn't know why I couldn't find her. I thought she was avoiding me. Well, she kind of was. Nobody told me, because she told everybody at work to just tell me that she's out of town or she's working at a different branch right today, because she used to be a teller at a bank. And so every time I'd go to a bank, I'm like, well, I keep coming here. I can't find her. She's not answering the phone. She's not at home. Where is she? I need to talk to her. Oh, I don't know, Stephen. We don't know. She told us not to tell you, but she's fine, and she's working at a different branch, or maybe she's at the corporate office. And I'm like, I found out that they were covering for her. She told everybody, if Stephen comes in looking for me, do not tell him that I'm battling cancer. Do not tell him. I want to be the one to tell him. Apparently, it overtook her so fast. She was in hospice, and her family didn't tell me. Nobody told me until I got the phone call from a mutual friend that she saw that it was Jeannie's brother had posted on Facebook that Jeannie had died. And I'm like, what? So I'm immediately thinking, what? Car accident. It must be a car accident or something. I call her mother and I find out, oh no, the cancer never left. She's been battling it for 2 years. She just didn't want to tell you. And I'm like, where has she been this whole time? She goes, Stephen, she's been in and out of surgeries and hospice and all that stuff. I'm like, why didn't you tell me? She goes, Stephen, she thought it would be too painful for you because you just lost your father and you have really bad health yourself, and she didn't want to worry you, and she also didn't want you praying for her. And I'm like, why would she not want me to pray for her? She knows that I have abilities. Like, why would she not want me to pray for her? I don't know, Stephen. She just didn't want you to. Maybe because the thought of dying was going to be too scary for her. It was too much for her to handle. And maybe she didn't want to put you through that again. You just lost your dad, and you're battling serious health issues yourself. And she probably thought it would be too much for you. And so she thought she was going to spare you. And I think she thought she was going to beat it, possibly. But she didn't, so that's it. So Jeannie died without me being by her side, as I promised I would be. And I would have been praying for her, and we could have either gotten a miraculous healing, because I've seen it happen for other people I've prayed for. Stage 4C cancer, gone immediately. Jeannie was beyond stage 4C. I'm sure the Lord could have helped, or would have helped, if he knew I wanted to marry her. He did know I wanted to marry her. So, but you know what? Free will. And she said she did not want me praying for her. So maybe she wanted to die. I don't know. I don't know. But even if I couldn't get a healing miracle, I could have gotten her to the Lord so her soul would have been saved. Because she wasn't a practicing Christian. She was a non-practicing, non-prayerful, practically atheist, because her mother was an atheist. Her father and his father were Freemasons, and they're a Protestant. So Jeannie was technically Protestant, but never went to church. Wouldn't come with me to church, and so not really. Mostly just like kind of. She believed in Jesus. Her mother didn't. Her father did, but he didn't go to church, and she didn't go to church. So I mean, may Lord, I really hope that Jesus, and I do know that earlier that day the Lord told me to pray the Chaplet of Divine Mercy at 1:00 p.m. right after Mass. I was hanging around after Mass. Mass ended around 12, because I went to the 11 o'clock Mass. At 12 o'clock, I felt the need to pray for somebody immediately, the Chaplet of Divine Mercy. I started praying. I got on my knees at the altar. And as soon as I said, "O blood and water which gush forth from the heart of Jesus, as a fount of mercy for us, I trust in you," 3 drops of water splashed on my arm out of nowhere. It was a sunny day. It hadn't rained all week. The roof doesn't leak at the altar in our church. There's nowhere it could have come from. I was the only one in there. So I tasted it, and it was salty, like tears. So then I saw Father Turner, and I ran up. I said, "Father Turner, look." He's like, "Okay, water. So what?" I'm like, "Do you know where this came from?" He's like, "Holy water? Would you put holy water on yourself?" "No." And so I told him what happened. He goes, "Oh, another one of your supernatural things, I suppose." I'm like, "Yes." He's like, "Listen, I don't have time for this. I got to go. Look, when you're done praying, lock up the church. Please make sure you lock the doors. I got to go." And I'm like, "Where are you going?" He's like, "Somebody's dying at hospice right now. I got to go. They're probably already dead by now." And I'm like, "Okay. Anybody I know?" He's like, "I don't know, and I can't tell you anyway." So he left. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm hoping and praying that it was Jeannie that he went to see. Maybe Jeannie asked for a priest after all, or her family or somebody. The chances are very slim, but you never know. However, when I looked at my watch, for some reason, when that water splashed on my arm, I looked at the time. It was almost 1:00. At 5 p.m., I get the phone call that Jeannie had died. I call her mother. I asked when did she pass. About 1:00 p.m. this afternoon. Those were Jeannie's tears. I know. I was supposed to intercede for her. The Lord was trying to tell me, you need to pray. He didn't tell me who it was for. There probably wasn't enough time. The priest was already on his way, but like he said, it's probably too late, because he couldn't leave any sooner, because we just had Mass at 11 a.m. and he had to clean up and shut the church down before he can go. So God was sending him to Jeannie already. So I'm sure he did whatever he could do after she had already taken her last breath. But he didn't make it there in time, which is probably why the Lord told me to pray for her. And I didn't know it was her at the time. Right then and there immediately. I also prayed again at 3 o'clock in the afternoon before going out to do yard work. I went and prayed my normal 3 p.m. in front of the Divine Mercy image, which was hanging in my dining room at the time in my old home. And so I would always get down on my knees in front of it and pray at 3 o'clock and do the Divine Mercy for whoever needed it at 3 p.m. So whoever it was for, I said, Lord, I'm also going to do it at 3 p.m. for this person. 5 p.m. I get the phone call and I find out. 5:05 p.m. I call her mother and I find out she had died at 1 p.m. Exactly 1 p.m. Took her last breath in hospice that day. While I was at the altar praying for her and not knowing it was her that the Lord had me pray for. And those tears, those tears were Jeannie saying goodbye. Because she promised me she wouldn't die without saying goodbye or letting me know. And maybe I wasn't allowed to be there supernaturally because I needed to be in church when she was dying at Mass and praying for her at that altar. It's the only thing that makes sense. So in essence, I was with her when she died. In spirit. She was there in spirit with me. And I know that she loved me and she would not have left that way if she knew. But her mother said that the cancer had gotten to her brain so quickly she didn't have time to tell me. And I said, well, why didn't you tell me, Sandy? Stephen, are you really asking me this right now? I just lost my daughter. I was a bit preoccupied. I didn't think to call you. I'm sorry. And I'm like, well, thanks a lot. 22-year friendship. I was going to be engaged to the girl, and I couldn't even be there when she died. I'm always there for my loved ones when they die. They die right in my arms. And I missed it. But now I realize I didn't miss it. Jeannie was there in church with me. With Jesus. Standing there and I couldn't see her. Asking me to pray for her. And her tears fell onto my arm. And I know I can't prove this to any of you, but I'm telling you it's the truth. I have so many true, supernatural, unbelievable stories. But anyway, let's go back to what I was talking about. So, Jeannie is the one that witnessed a lot of these miracles over the years, and she's no longer among the living to tell you, otherwise she'd be with me right now telling you. Steve's telling you the truth. He's not making it up. I've seen it myself. My father was another one who saw these things. He's gone too. Anyway, the second vision I had, and I really got to get going because this is a long video, but I'm just trying to prove to you guys why I know that these are real and prophetic and that we need to heed these dreams. And America is in trouble. The second time I had a vision like that, and I'm not talking about dreams. I get dreams too that are very clear and prophetic, like I said, about the missiles and stuff. But sometimes, like I told you just now, about how I actually have out-of-body experiences where I'm in the future. And I see what's going to happen before it happens. The second time it happened was about a week before my father died. And I can't control these things. I don't plan them. I don't know when they're going to happen. I was I was very tired because I would be up all night watching my father when my stepmother slept and, spending time with him while he was sleeping on the couch because he got so sick he couldn't go to sleep on his... He didn't want to sleep in his bed, so he would stay on the couch and all that stuff. And so I'd stay up reading the Bible and praying over him all night and keep watch on him while my stepmother would sleep in the couch next to him, snoring so loud that my father couldn't sleep and I couldn't wake her up. So I kept watch all night. One night my father dropped a cigarette and it rolled into the couch and if I wasn't there to find it and get him up, it would have caused a fire. Another time he had fallen asleep with a hard candy or a cough drop in his throat and he was choking and I had to help him, and my stepmother wasn't even there. She was so sound asleep she wouldn't have even heard him. He was like, if I wasn't sitting there watching him, he would have died. And that's why I'm like, no more cigarettes and no more candies when you're in bed. No more. Enough. But anyway, this one day, I was in a bad mood, and my father kept asking me for things, and I don't know why. I was getting snippy with him, and I'm like, Dad, I just gave you fresh water. Oh, well, this is old. Like, I want some more, and I'm like, but I literally just gave it to you. Like, that's fresh. No, it's not. Fine, give it to me. So I took this little thing. It looked like a plastic mason jar with a straw in it because he had trouble, holding things. And so I went. Sorry. I went. I grabbed the jar. I walked out of the living room. I went into the kitchen, filled it up with fresh cold water. And as I was walking in, he was talking to me, and I'm like, what? Whatever. And I'm kind of like yelling at him. I don't know why. I forgot what it was. I was upset about something. And, that's what it was. He said, you're going to miss me when I'm gone. And by the way, that was the year that song from Anna Kendrick or whatever came out. You're going to miss me. It's called Cups, C-U-P-S, where she's like making these noises with the cups. And he made a song out of it called You're Gonna Miss Me When I'm Gone. You're gonna miss me by my hair. You're gonna miss me everywhere. You're sure gonna miss me when I'm gone. So that song was on the radio big time when my father said that to me. And I'm like, what do you say? Of course I'm gonna miss you when you're gone. Why wouldn't I miss you? You know how much I love you. And soon as I'm saying that as I'm walking across this big living room to hand him his water. And soon as I'm about 5 feet away from him, suddenly, I'm not in the living room anymore. I'm in the funeral parlor. At his wake, around 7 a.m. in the morning, maybe 7:45, and the sun is shining in. The room's aglow with morning light. And there's my father in front of me in a casket. And I saw every detail. I'm standing there. I'm wearing a suit. He's wearing a black suit, a red tie, a white shirt. He's he looks good. He's got like a little smile on his face. And I see that he's got a very expensive, very ornate, very cherry mahogany, beautiful casket with little cherub faces carved in it, and gold handles, and shiny satin interior, and there's strange things in there. A carton of cigarettes, a bunch of lighters, like cigarette lighters for the cigarettes, like he's gonna smoke them when he's dead, right? A box of rubber donuts, realistic looking. I thought it was tacky. I'm like, why are there a dozen fake rubber donuts? My father was a cop, cops and donuts. Photos of me and my dad, fishing trips and all kinds of photos. A collage of photos next to the casket. A little heart made out of red and white roses that said Grandpa on it. From your favorite granddaughter. I see all of this in great detail. And then all of a sudden, whoosh, I'm standing in the living room again with my arm reaching out, standing there with my arm out, handing the water to my father. And my father's looking at me like, Steven. I'm like, what? He's like, where did you go? And I'm like, what do you mean, where'd I go? He's like, you had one of your visions again. I'm like, no, I didn't. He's like, yes, you did. What did you see? And I'm like, nothing, Dad. Nothing. Nothing. Don't worry about it. He's like, I know you saw something. How do you know that? He's like, because you're standing there for at least 30 seconds. Like, just blank stare with a look of fright on your face. Like you saw a ghost. And you're looking all around. You're obviously looking at something. But your eyes were looking at me, so you're looking down. Where were you? What did you see? And I didn't tell him. I'm like, nothing, Dad. It was nothing, really. And he's like, I know you saw something. Don't lie to me. He's like, what did you see? I'm like, nothing. Don't worry about it. It's fine. He's like, are you sure? I'm like, it's fine. I gave him his water, and I walked out of there, and I went to go cry. I didn't want him to see me cry. I didn't want him to know why I was crying. I knew that the Lord was showing me, don't argue with your father, you're going to regret it. Like, be nice, Stephen. You don't have much time left with him. Less than a week later, I was the first one at the wake to run ahead of the rest of the family. Run in there. I ran into the funeral parlor because I wanted to be the first one in there. I had waited 4 days for the funeral, or 3 days for the funeral. I just wanted to be with my father again. I missed him so much. I was up the whole night before, working on a photo collage and everything, the one I saw, in great detail, before I ever knew I was going to be making it. And I had photos in my pockets that I wanted to put in the casket, the same photos that I saw in my vision. And I had written a long handwritten letter to my father, and I sealed it in an envelope, and I wanted to put it in his pocket of his suits, and I did. I put it in. That's why I wanted to get there before my family came in, because I wanted to put it in the casket without them knowing, because it was a private letter. Everything I wanted to tell my father that I knew he would be able to read in heaven. I wanted to give him something from me, personal. And I stuck it on the inside of his jacket pocket, because otherwise my family would freak out if they saw me messing with the body. So I had to do it before they got in there. Well, soon as I got in there, it was exactly as I just told you. Exact detail. Right down to the rubber donuts and the little pillow hearts that said "Grandpa from your favorite granddaughter," it was a joke between my niece Samantha and my father Ralph, because he'd always say, "You're my favorite granddaughter." She goes, "I'm your only granddaughter." He's like, "I know, that's why you're my favorite." So she would always put "from your favorite granddaughter." And there was the photo, and I put my photos in the casket also. And I saw the cigarettes and all that other stuff. It was all exactly as I had seen in the vision. The cherub, everything exact. So I can't explain all these things, but they really strengthen my faith. And every once in a while I reshare these stories. You can call me a liar all you want. You can say I'm a lunatic. I cannot prove to you that it's real. I know for a fact it is, because it happened to me, and there was no way I could have known what casket we were going to pick out, what flowers were going to be in there, what photos I was going to put in there, what he was going to be wearing. None of that. The chair, everything. I didn't know. And I actually told my family, I'm like, why did you put rubber donuts in the casket? That is so tacky. He doesn't want all that junk in there. Oh, stop, Stephen, he's dead. And I'm like, it's funny, because he was a cop and he liked his donuts. I'm like, and his cigarettes. He always wanted his donut and his coffee and his cigarettes. I'm like, I'm surprised you didn't put a cup of coffee in there with them too. Oh yeah, we probably should have. I'm like, don't do that to me. When I die, do not put all that junk in my casket. I'm claustrophobic. I don't like it. I don't want all that stuff inside my casket, okay? Don't be putting that stuff in there. Trust me, I don't want it in there. All I want is a crucifix in one hand and my rosary wrapped around my hand with a crucifix. Like that one, preferably. I want to hold it. Hold it with the rosary in my hand. I want these things better be on my body, especially these. My father bought me this crucifix, and this was the miraculous metal. Well, not the same exact one, because that one is gone, but this is a exact replica made out of real silver, from the Blessed Mother. And the green scapular, this is still, that's why it's all worn out. This is the original green scapular that I got from Mary. And it's my brown scapular. So anyway, I want these things on me under my suit. And I have the same red tie, black suits, and white shirt that my father was buried in. If I can't get an all glass casket, I don't even want to tell you guys this, but I want a all glass casket that they put Princess Diana and people like that in This way, because I'm claustrophobic. I know it's stupid, I'm not going to be in there anyway, but if I can't get an all-glass casket, so that... My thing is, when you wheel me into the church, even though they cover you with the shroud, eventually they take it off. So while I'm being driven away in the back of the hearse, I want to have a glass casket so I can see and people can see me. They better not cover it, because the whole purpose of the casket is so you can see the body. And I also want it for viewing. So even if it's closed, you can still have a public viewing, and open or closed. Maybe they should keep it closed so people don't touch me or whatever, and they can see through the casket, whatever. And when I'm in the church, I want to be, at my final mass, and also the interment at the cemetery, I want to be seen and see the light of day one last time. And I want people to be able to still... Because after the wake, when they closed the coffin, that's it. Like, you can't... They had to rip me off my father's body. Like, I would not stop running back and hugging him. And they had to literally pull me off so they could close the casket. That's how attached I was to him, how much I loved him. So, when they close my casket, you'll still be able to see me in the hearse, on the way to the hearse, going into the cemetery, into the church, on the way out of the church, back in the hearse, and at the burial site. They'll still be able to see me. Because I remember all the other funerals where at the cemetery, I still wish I can see the person one last time before they go in the ground. But you can't, because they've shut and locked the coffin, and that's it. So with me, if I have an all-glass casket, like all glass, okay, everybody will be able to see me, and I'll be able to see everybody right until they put me in the ground and cover the vault on top of it. This way you get a prolonged funeral, a wake, because sometimes people don't come to the wake, or they can't come to the wake the day before, or they can't get there early in the morning for the final viewing. So at least they will come to the church or the burial, the interment. They'll be able to see me then. Because for some reason I anticipate, hopefully, probably not with my luck, nobody will probably come, but you never know. What if a lot of people show up? I want the public to be able to see me and say goodbye, So, whatever. But I doubt my family's going to honor my wishes. So I told them, if I don't get the glass casket that I want, and it's a special order, which is why my stepmother... I forgot. I should have... That's right. I was supposed to have this already planned already. I was supposed to go... I keep meaning to go. I keep forgetting. I was supposed to go to the funeral home and already have this all set up, so it's already ready to go and picked out before I die. Because I have the life insurance and everything. I just keep forgetting to do that. I'm so busy all the time. Anyway, I got to remember to do that this week. But I told them, if I can't get the casket I want, then I want the exact same one that my father had. So, anyway, like father, like son. So, anyway, I don't know why I told you guys all that, but, what really bothers me is that I bet you, if anybody even watches this whole thing, I don't think they watch my entire video. If they do, they're probably thinking I'm a liar. Do you really think that I would sit here and lie to you, and to God knows how many thousands of people may watch this video one day, and then stand before the Lord Jesus Christ on my judgment day, when I know that the Bible says liars will have their part in the lake of fire? Do you really think I want that on my judgment day? Do you really think I want Jesus to say, you liar, you lied in all these videos and you put them out there for the world to see? So thousands of people were deceived. Really? Think about that for a minute. Okay, then you're a lunatic then. Because there's no way these things happen. I don't believe you. I think you're making up tall tales. You're either a liar or a lunatic. Maybe you fantasize all these things. Maybe you're crazy. No. No, I'm not. I understand that the nature of what I'm talking about, most people wouldn't believe. I tend to not really always believe people either when I hear stuff like this. So, but I know it's true. So, yes, I've had a few out-of-body experiences when I'm under surgery. Yes, I saw Jesus and his mother in 2018 while I was under anesthesia for I think it was an endoscopy and a colonoscopy to remove more polyps before they turn cancerous. I get a lot of them. In 2013, my very first spinal surgery, I had an out-of-body experience. They lost me. I died during the surgery, and they had to resuscitate me. And I want to say it was the Blessed Mother, but it might have been a guardian angel. All I know, she had the most beautiful voice. She was radiant, and did you hear that? Something just banged on the... Somebody just banged on the outside of my trailer wall. Anyway, so I saw... I didn't get a good look, but I knew it was a woman in all white. I thought it was a nurse or something. I went under anesthesia. Next thing you know, as soon as I go under, I hear, Stephen. And I open my eyes, and there's a woman standing there with all white. Didn't get a clear look of her face. But I remember her having the most beautiful, calm, heavenly voice. Stephen, come on, get up. Follow me. Come with me. And I'm like, I just had surgery. Like, I just had spinal surgery. What do you mean? You want me to just get up and walk out of here? She goes, come on, follow me. I'm like, I don't feel any pain. Huh. The drugs must not have worn off yet. Okay. So I sit up, and I get up, and I start following her, and I start walking away from the operation table. In this particular room, there was 3 beds. You can have 3 surgeries going at one time. And there was these double doors, and so I was at the third, all the way to the left of the room, and now I walk, and I'm halfway through the room. I'm almost to the doors, and I'm like, where's the lady I'm following? So I'm looking for her, and I turn around, and she's nowhere to be found. But what I did see was everybody working frantically on me, panicking. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's me. I died. And it's weird because I can telepathically hear and know everything everybody was saying and thinking simultaneously. And I look down because I could feel the cold floor under my bare feet. I look down, I can't see my body. I can feel myself. I can feel the floor, but I can't see myself. I'm invisible, but I'm very much me. I could feel the cold floor under my bare feet. It's cold in here. And now I'm like, I'm dead. Then I remembered, right before I went into surgery, when I was changing into my hospital gown, I got on my knees and said another prayer to the Lord. I said, Lord, my father's dying of cancer. If it's your will, I ask you a special favor. I want to die, but I want to come back. I want to know what he's going to experience when he leaves his body, so I can coach him, so I can put him at ease. Like, I want to know what he's going to go through, and I want to be able to tell him it's going to be okay and whatever. So, but I got to come back. Like, I don't want to die forever. I want to just experience it to know what it's like, so I can come back to tell about it. I never thought God would answer that request. Apparently he did. Because, so now I'm standing there, and I realize, I see them working on me, they're panicking, and I start panicking, because all of a sudden I just think of, wait a minute, what happens now? Am I going to go to heaven or hell? And all of a sudden, I start looking at the floor, thinking like that movie Ghost, where those shadows came out and dragged them down, and I feel this terror come over me, this sense of hopelessness and despair and like hell, like terror. I was never so afraid in my life. it just took over. And then all of a sudden, I sense a presence. And I look up, and I don't see a light, a tunnel of light. I didn't see God, nothing. But I sensed him there. And I heard in my mind this voice saying, it was a masculine voice, and it said, everything's going to be okay. Don't worry. And as soon as he said that, all I can describe is, I call it liquid love. It felt like warm olive oil, that kind of consistency. Warm olive oil pour on the top of my head, and it went right through my entire soul. From the top of my head through my entire body, like this, slowly, all the way down to the soles of my feet. And as it's going through me, I am filled with such, I can't even describe it, undescribable peace and joy and love and bliss and ecstasy and every good feeling imaginable, like all simultaneously, like, and it felt like I was embraced by a warm blanket of love. I've never felt such peace, serenity, security, love, happiness, joy, and I felt so alive. Like, imagine, like, I don't even know what this feels like anymore because I haven't had a good night's sleep in 20, 30 years, but I've never really gotten much good sleep actually in my life. But imagine waking up after a wonderful 10-hour night's sleep and you feel so refreshed and bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and sharp-minded and ready to start your day. You had really good sleep, like, you know, you're not tired in the least. Well, I felt such energy. I never felt more alive and real in my life. And I was free. You don't feel hunger, pain. You don't feel the weight of gravity. You don't feel your body anymore. You just feel so undescribably alive and free and happy and healthy and life in abundance and joy and peace and ecstasy. It's like God himself or heaven, the whole atmosphere, just, I became one with it. Like I knew it was a foretaste of heaven. I knew that I was at first feeling a foretaste of judgment and hell, but then I got to feel God's presence, his love, and what it's going to feel like in heaven. I felt so good. And then I noticed I can see across the room like the tiniest little crumb or speck of dust all the way 20 feet away. I can hear like a dog. I can see like a bird. I can smell like a bloodhound. Like my senses were like 1,000 times amplified. Again, life in abundance, to the fullest, to overflowing. Like, I can't explain it in words. And I can know everything and hear everything. You don't need to speak, you just communicate telepathically. And I knew everything that was being said about me by the doctors and nurses, and I could feel their panic. I understood. I knew everything. When I came back from this experience, I told them what they did and what they said, and they were so dumbfounded and amazed. They're like, "That's right, yes. Oh my God, yes. That's exactly what happened. Yes." I'm like, "Yeah, I know," because I was right over there, standing about 20 feet away, watching and listening to all of this. I also, at the same time, which is strange, even though I'm like 20 feet away, I was able to see down at the same time too and see everything. Even though I was over there, I could still see everything going on over here. I can't explain it. Amazing. So now, I didn't want to go back. I'm like, you know what? I've never felt so good and happy and alive in my life. I'm not going back to that body, Lord. I don't want to go back. Like, I love everybody. I don't want to go back. Because I've been in so much pain in that body and paralysis, and that's why I'm having the surgery. Like, I don't ever want to go back to that body again. Like, not after this. Like, I'm free. I'm done. So I'm like, you know what? I'm like, I have to go back. My father. I need to tell him about this. I'm like, I can't leave. He needs me right now. He needs me. He's very sick. I can't let him die alone. I have to pray for him. I have to make sure he goes to church. I got to get everything set up. My family's not going to do it. I got to make sure the priest comes and anoints him, and I got to go back. I'm like, okay, I'll go back. But Lord, I want to go walk around in the waiting room. I'm going to go see them right now because my dad and my stepmother and Jeannie, they're all in the waiting room right now. Probably, I want to go there and tell them what they were talking about, what they were reading, like what magazine they were reading, so they will believe me when I come back to tell them that I was really there and I saw them and I saw what they were doing. So I start going towards the double doors, and then I get sucked back, like all of a sudden, like I had a cord wrapped around me or something, and I get jolted back. It's like my dog when he's on the runner outside and he goes to chase after something, and as soon as he gets to the end of his rope, he goes flying in the air backwards, like does a somersault, because it hits him with such force, like snap. I got snapped back. I was so close to the doors. Snap back. And next thing you know, it's dark again, and I wake up to this. Steven! And I'm like, ah! And I'm like, what the? And they're like, and soon I open my eyes, and I see everybody looking at me like, Steven? And I'm like, ow! What? And I'm like, you brought me back. And they looked at it, and they're like, of course we brought you back. Why wouldn't we bring you back? I'm like, something happened, didn't it? They're like, there was a problem, yes. I'm like, I died, didn't I? They're like, we almost lost you, but you're back. You're back. We didn't. And I'm like, yeah, I know, because I was over there watching the whole thing. They're like, what? They're like, anyway, can you move your feet? I'm like, I don't know, can I? She goes, here, wiggle your right foot, okay? Now wiggle your left toes, okay? Now your right hand, okay? Your left. Okay. It was a complete success. And I'm like, I could have been paralyzed. She's like, it was very close, yes. What happened? She's like I said, there was a complication, but, that 3-hour surgery, well, you've been in here 4.5 hours. I'm like, 4.5 hours? There was no time. There was no time where I was. It literally, I went under anesthesia. I was, within seconds, I was out of my body. I was talking to some woman who is obviously not here. You're all wearing blue scrubs. She was wearing white. I was walking over there. I had an encounter with God. And they're like, what? Oh, well, it must be the anesthesia. I'm like, no, it wasn't the anesthesia. I can prove. Like, oh, yeah. I'm like, you were over here doing this. You were saying this. And they're like, yes. They're like, how did he see that? Your eyes were taped your eyes were taped closed. I'm like, I saw everything. And I was able to give them details, which I can't remember now, but I gave them details. Everything that happened, everything. They're like, yes, you're right. That did. They're like, listen, we can't explain things. We hear things often that like this, and we don't know what to make of it. But I guess you had what's called an outer body experience. I'm like, I'd say so. I was all the way over there, and yet I was somehow watching it all. And so they said, okay, go. We're going to go tell your parents that they're very worried about you. I'm like, why would they be worried about you? And your girlfriend too, she's worried. I'm like, why would she be worried about me? Why? And they're like, well, because they keep asking for what's taking so long, and we told them it was an emergency, and we were working on you, and so they're waiting to find out whether you made it or not. And I'm like, you told them I was dead? They're like, well, we had to go out. We sent somebody out there to tell them that, yeah, because after 3 hours, they realized something's wrong, and so, long story short, I was in there for like 4.5 hours for a 3-hour surgery, and because of complications, and my family was panicking. My girlfriend, Jeannie, at the time, she was panicking. She was really my best friend at the time. They knew something was wrong, but they didn't know what, and they were waiting for the doctor to come back and tell them whether I made it or not. So, I made it. Praise the Lord. And so, maybe that would have happened had I not asked the Lord, but what an awesome experience. The second surgery, same thing happened. In 2017. 2017? Yeah, 2017, I had my second surgery. It was after Jeannie died, I believe. Yeah, was it after? Yeah, because 2015, I got in a major car accident. It messed up my neck again. So in 2017, I had to have another surgery, second surgery. During that surgery, I don't know what it was. Maybe a dream. I can't be sure. It seemed like an out-of-body experience, but I don't understand. I don't know why I'm telling you guys all this now at 3:30 in the morning, but I might as well finish the story. This time, I was in a misty place, an ugly place, yet a place that kind of looked familiar. It was like, it looked like I was walking on the beach of, what do you call it, Long Wharf in downtown New Haven. It was an industrial look. It looked like New York City, like in Manhattan, like along the ocean where it's smelly and a little bit of sand, and it's very industrial. And I saw a bridge up in front of me, so it was definitely down below a bridge. I'm walking, and if I had kept walking, I would have eventually walked under this big bridge that was going over. The water was to my right. I was walking on beach sand. It was ugly. It looked industrial, like a city, like Bridgeport, Connecticut, or like a mall somewhere in downtown New Haven. Like walking along oh my gosh. It's late. I'm tired. There's a word for it. I work down there all the time. Oh. Maybe it was Long Wharf. Maybe it was Long Wharf because I worked down there. At the time, when I had my surgery, I was working for Port Security Services, protecting critical infrastructure, government sites, from terrorism. I was anti-terrorism security, and I would walk along the beaches of these facilities all along the water where the big oil tankers come in to fuel up and drop off cargo. And I used to have to do crew musters, crew checks, for bombs, and check people's papers before letting them come onto U.S. soil. I had to make sure that they had proper papers, otherwise they couldn't leave the ship. They could be stowaways. I had to check for stowaways, all that stuff. It was working under the Coast Guard for Port Security Services. So I would have to go on these ships and stuff and do all this stuff, and I'd have to walk back and forth and patrol these ugly, stinky areas of Long Wharf under the bridges and where all the oil tankers are and all that stuff. And not fun, especially in the middle of winter and at night usually. But anyway, so maybe that's what it was, but it looked like something like that. Anyway, I was walking along, and it was a very gray day. Misty, like wet, damp, like fog, but that was making you wet. Just ugly, gray, somber, misty, and I'm walking in the sand, and it was almost like being in a black and white movie. That's how ugly and depressing it was. And I look down, and I'm all alone. And I see only one set of footprints in the sand. And then all of a sudden, I look down again, and on both sides of me, there's footprints. My footprints, and then like 4 sets of footprints going to my right, and like another 2 people on my left, but I couldn't see the people. And then I look up, and I noticed that these footprints are going ahead of me quite a distance. And I'm walking, so I look back and I can see my footprints and all these people's footprints along sides of me. So there's all these tracks. And I look forward and I see all these tracks ahead except for mine. But they're on both sides of me heading in that direction. And then I look, and in the far distance, like about a football field away, kind of under this bridge I'm heading towards, I see Jeannie. She had already died in 2017. I see Jeannie. I think my friend Nikki. My father. And some other people. They were kind of far away, but they were there, and they were like looking at me, looking back at me, and like waving. and they were way ahead of me. And I'm walking towards them, and then I wake up, and the surgery's over, and they're waking me up. And I'm like, wow, what was that all about? I saw my mother was there, my dad, and I think my grandmother, Jeannie, and my roommate, Nikki. She also died of cancer in 2015. Another friend of mine. I lost a lot of people. Melissa, she died in a car accident in 2005. All those people were there, and they were ahead of me. And so I remember, like, feeling so alone, like, I'm walking all alone in life, and it feels so lonely. And then I look and I see all these tracks, and then I look ahead, and I see all these people that I love that are dead. And then I realized they were always with me. Like, they were always with me. Like, they're always watching. They're always there. So I'm not really alone. They're in heaven or wherever they are right now, but they're waiting for me. And so I'm not alone. They're there. I just can't see them, and I can't feel them. But they know where I am, and they can see me, and they can pray for me, and they're waiting for me. And that's what I got from that experience. And whether it was a dream or whether it was a supernatural place, I don't know. I don't know why it was so depressing and ugly and dreary, like a purgatory place or something, but I don't like the feeling that I got from it. It was very lonely and depressing, and I felt so alienated and all alone in this place, and it was scary because I'm like, I'm all alone here, and where am I? And why, you know? And I kept thinking, another thing that crossed my mind during the experience was that footprints in the sand poem about how there was a man walking on the beach, and he noticed a second set of footprints next to him, and it was the Lord. He realized it was the Lord Jesus Christ walking beside him. And then every once in a while he'd look, and it would just be one set of footprints. It would just be his. And so he asked the Lord, he's like, Lord, why is it that every time the most difficult times in my life, the most difficult challenges I go through, I look back and there's only one set of footprints? Why do you leave me when I need you the most? And he's like, my son, I didn't leave you when you needed me the most. There's only one set of footprints in the sand during those times, because those aren't your footprints. Those are mine. Those are the times I carried you. Most of the time I walk alongside you, but sometimes I have to carry you myself. That's why there was only one set of footprints in the sand. They're not yours, they're mine. So that's what I thought of when I'm having this experience. But instead of seeing Jesus, I was expecting those footprints to be Jesus's. But I saw not just a second set of footprints, I saw like 6 new other sets of footprints. 3 or 4 on both sides, 6 or 8, whatever. And I look ahead, and there's this whole group of my dead relatives ahead of me. And so I guess what that means is, listen, it's not your time yet, but we never left you. And you got to walk the rest of the way on your own, but you're not really alone, even though it seems like that. Until we meet again, we had to go ahead of you, you know? But it's not your time yet. We've already died and gone ahead of you. But we'll see you soon, type of thing. That's what I got from that. And that was in 2017. In 2018, I have my endoscopy or whatever procedure. So the first one was in 2013. I died, walked around the room, had that experience, walked around the ER or whatever, had that experience, and that was my first surgery, first out-of-body experience. Second one was in 2017, where I had the endoscopy and colonoscopy, and I was walking. No, sorry, the second one was in 2017. Was the second spinal surgery. And that's when I was walking in the beach area with all these people, dead people. Then in 2018, I had my third out-of-body experience, and this one was awesome. This one was the endoscopy and colonoscopy. They didn't bolt at the same time, top and bottom. And when I left my body, I was, next thing you know, I was taken up into like a heavenly realm, because all I know is like I'm kneeling, I'm on the ground kneeling, and I'm in this cloudy place. It's lit up, but it's cloudy, like almost like kind of gray, but not so gray. Like I'm in a cloud. It's luminous, but a little somber and gray at the same time, but not too much. And I'm kneeling. And I look behind me, and my feet are hanging off this ledge of cloud. Okay, like I'm on a ledge of cloud. And behind me is outer space. And way down, way far in the distance to my right, to my lower right, is the earth. I can see the entire earth. So I'm far enough away to see the entire earth. And where I am, if I were to fall off this ledge, I wouldn't fall back to the earth. I'd fall away into outer space somewhere else. The earth was that far away. But I could see the whole thing. Beautiful. And it's round, by the way. It's not flat. And I don't remember seeing many stars, if anything. I don't remember. There might have been a few stars in the distance, but I think it was just utter blackness in the earth. But the earth was lit up, like completely lit up, so on the side I was facing. So the sun was somewhere. I didn't see the sun or the moon. I just saw the earth, and I saw the blackness of space. And I'm like, wait a minute, where am I? I must be dead, because I should be freezing to death. It's in outer space. How am I able to breathe? There's no oxygen in space. Also, I'm terribly afraid of heights. And my feet are literally hanging off this ledge into this abyss of outer space, with the earth is about, I don't know, 100 miles down there. I'm very high up, and I'm not afraid. I'm in total peace. That's strange, because I have vertigo, and I'm afraid of heights. And in front of me, I see Jesus and the Blessed Virgin Mother. And that's what I was telling you. Mary was standing there with her arms outstretched, just like she is on this miraculous medal. And she was dressed in all gray. And I said earlier in the video, I didn't know what gray meant until now. Our Lady of Grace, maybe? I don't know. And she had a halo behind her of stars that they weren't moving, they were suspended. 12 5-point stars. 12 5-pointed stars that were bronze color, like dirty copper penny color, but yet shiny. And she's kind of smiling at me like this. And she's talking to me telepathically. And then I see Jesus to her right hand side, and he's standing there, but he's looking forward. He's not looking at me. He's standing looking forward, and his face is blurred. I knew it was him, because I could see the long hair, shoulder-length hair, and I could see like his hands with the nail marks and the feet and his robe and all that. He was wearing gray also. Both of them had these gray tunics on and Mary had a mantle on. It might have been white and gray. I don't remember, but I think it was white. But she had gray. And there was a rope around the waist with like knots in it. Almost like what the Franciscans, the friars of the Renewal wear. Like gray hooded tunics with a rope around their waist, like a cincher. And it hangs down, and there's like balls in it. Like they use them as a rosary, or I don't know. There's 3 knots or something in it. I don't know. But that's what they were both wearing. And I'm thinking to myself, why is Jesus and Mary wearing that? Like, I thought Jesus was going to be wearing like a white tunic with maybe a red cape, and Mary should be wearing white with like a blue cape or something. No? But they're all in gray, and it's so somber. The whole feeling is very somber. Like joy, peace and joy, but a sense of not severity, but somber is the word that keeps coming to mind. Seriousness, somber, an awkward quiet. You could hear a pin drop. But yet, I don't remember everything that was said. A lot was discussed. Jesus wasn't saying anything to me. He wasn't interacting with me. He was just standing there. But Mary was. And I'm on my knees in front of Mary, more so than Jesus. Like, kind of actually no. I'm in the middle of both of them, like in front of them, facing them on my knees, and Jesus is to my left, and she's to my right, but like more in front of me. So I guess I'm kind of more in front of Mary. So maybe that's to Jesus through Mary. Maybe that's what that was about. But I felt like why Jesus wouldn't let me see his face, I don't know. I saw Mary, and I have photos I want to post on my Facebook of what I did post them tonight, of what she looks like. They were exactly, the photos of her that I just posted tonight, that's exactly what she looked like. Exactly. In fact, years later, when I saw those photos at Father Bill McCarthy's place, my father's house in Moodus, Connecticut, I'm like, oh, that photo, that's Mary, that's how I saw her. And he's like, you saw her like that? And I'm like, that's her. He's like, Stephen, that's what she looked like in Medjugorje. I'm like, then that's what she looks like, because that's her. That's her. I never saw this photo of her before. I've never seen a photo like this before of Mary. Like, that's her exact likeness. That's the woman I saw. And I've never seen this photo of her. I've seen a lot of different images of Mary. I got them all over my room. But I never saw that exact one. And apparently, that's the Medjugorje Mary. Most beautiful woman I have ever seen in my life. Like, classy, just beautiful, perfect. Perfect. Dark brown hair, probably blue eyes, but gorgeous. Red lips, like rosy red lips, porcelain skin, flawless. Never seen a woman that pretty. I mean, she's better looking than, I don't know, I'd have to say the most beautiful woman, I think, that comes close to the Blessed Mother is Kathy Ireland from the 80s. You know, I always had a crush on Kathy Ireland. Or Kate Middleton. She's also very beautiful. But Kathy Ireland was exquisitely beautiful. Probably the most beautiful model that I've ever seen. Well, Mary was better than her. Alright, anyway, so I digress. So back to the story. I'm on my knees and I'm literally bowing to Jesus and to his mother. I'm going, Jesus, my Lord and my God, I love you. Mary, my Queen and my Mother, I love you. Jesus, my Father, my Savior, I love you. Mary, my Queen, my Mother, I love you. And I just keep doing this the whole time. You know, telling them both, Jesus, my Lord and my Savior, I love you. Mary, my Queen, my Mother, I love you. Jesus, my God, my Father, I love you. Mary, my Queen, my Mother, I love you. And as I'm the only one talking verbally, Mary is communicating with me mind to mind, telepathically. And I cannot remember everything. But I do know that at one point she was upset with something. She was upset with me for being tepid, I guess. I also had gotten into some mortal sin, some impurity issues. And so she had kind of addressed that. And she looked at me, like she went from a smile to a... like literally, like... it was a loving kind of correction, like, now you know better, son. Like, come on, Stephen. What I remember was basically something along the lines of, come on now, Stephen. You know better. Like, I need you to take this seriously. Like, or I need you to, you can do better. I need you to do better. Like, this is too important. Come on. Like, you know, I'm not mad, but I'm not pleased. And then she went back to, and again, she didn't say it with her mouth. She said it mentally. And all I can remember was bad things were about to happen very soon, probably starting in 2020. Like 2020 was the beginning of the end. And just like time is short. And then I looked over to my right, which was Mary's left, her left hand. And from Mary's left, going as far as the eye can see into infinity, along this ledge of cloud that my feet are dangling off of, the ledge of cloud just kept going and going and going. Like, it looked like this, okay? You see the edge of this bed, okay? Imagine. Let me see if... Okay, so here's the cloud. Okay, imagine this is the cloud. Okay, let me turn around. I am like literally like this, okay? I don't know if you can see this. See how my feet are? I'm kneeling like this. And this is exactly how it was. My feet are hanging off. And behind me, Rick, see where you can see see the desk? Okay? That was the earth. That was the earth. And in front of me, okay, let's face this way. In front of me, Jesus. Okay? In front of me was Jesus, and Mary's right here. So, I'm standing here like this. Okay, with the earth behind me, and my feet dangling off the ledge into outer space. And I'm literally kneeling on a ledge of cloud, and there's cloud everywhere. So I could only see Mary and Jesus and this luminous cloud, like of rolling fog. And what I'm kneeling on is luminous rolling fog. But yet it had a perfectly straight edge where my feet were literally dangling off, and then it was nothing but the darkness of outer space everywhere. Okay, behind me, above me, below me, and I could see the earth over here, the whole globe over here, lit up by the sun. I never bothered. I don't remember looking to my left. I didn't see the moon. I didn't see the sun. I would imagine the sun was probably here behind me, and that's why it was shining its glow on the earth. Well, I was a little preoccupied. I mean, when you're in front of Jesus and his mother, you don't really care about the surroundings, right? So, now, so here's Mary, okay? Mary's right here. And to her left, which is my right, all along the ledge, all the way, going miles and miles that way, were other people. And I don't know who they were. I couldn't really see their faces except for the very first man that was standing next to Mary. And they were all wearing gray tunics, a little bit darker than this. This color, the color of my shoe. This color gray. Okay? They were all dressed in a dark gray with a white rope around their waist with these knots in it. Every so many inches was like a knot. Like it was a rope tied in a knot, and there was another one with a knot. Like I've seen Franciscan friars wear, I guess, wrapped around their waist. That's all I know. I don't know what you call that thing. A cincher or whatever? I don't know. And that's what everybody was wearing. They were all wearing gray. And the mood, again, was like a sad, somber, but yet peaceful and loving atmosphere. But you can tell it was a very serious situation. And I see the first man, and he's standing by Mary's left hand. And he had jet black, I mean black as night, like this black, okay? Black. Black as these curtains. Jet black hair and a jet black mustache. Like a thick black mustache. And that was it. No beard. Just a black mustache and black hair, black eyebrows. That's all I remember. He didn't seem too familiar. handsome, short black, like short hair like me, okay, combed like me, but black. Black eyebrows, black hair, black mustache. Don't know who it was. And that was it. And then I couldn't see anybody else, really, their faces after him. And they were all quiet, and they were all looking down at the earth. Everybody was looking down at the earth. And it was quiet, and all I knew was they were waiting. They were watching, they were waiting, and they were sad. They were sad and in awe. Like awe and wonder about what was about to take place. Now, there's no time, by the way. You don't feel time in eternity. So, they were all there, lined up on this ledge of cloud. I don't know if it was like a part of heaven. I don't know what it was. We were in outer space in this cloudy, luminous cloud area, and they're all like at the edge of heaven or something, looking down, watching the earth and waiting. And it was so quiet, deafening quiet. Aside from me saying, Jesus, Mary, I love you. Mary, my queen, my mother, I love you. Jesus, my Lord and Savior, I love you. That's all I was doing. But other than that, it was quiet. The quiet just enveloped you. It was almost like when you're underwater at the bottom of a swimming pool, that kind of quiet. And everybody was just very serious and straight in the face and looking down at the earth. Watching very intently. Waiting. And what I got from it was they're waiting to see what's about to happen. Something's about to happen. The end is coming. Some bad thing or things are about to happen. And heaven is very concerned. That's what I got. Heaven is very concerned. These things must come to pass. They're not happy about it, but it must be. It's going to be really bad. They're rooting for us. They're watching. They're waiting. But they're not. They're very sad. And they're very concerned for mankind. That's what I got. That's what I can remember. Let me see if there's anything else. Mission. I just feel like I keep hearing the word mission. Important mission for a time. Being entrusted with a mission that I guess it will make sense in time, or it'll be revealed in time, or I will know, or I will remember this conversation at the right time. Again, I need you to be serious, Stephen. I know you can do better. I'm not angry at you, but I'm not pleased. I love you. But this is serious. You need to be holy. Lord, please help me. Is there anything I can remember? Just that something was about to happen. Maybe the beginning of the end. The Lord soon return. Armageddon. I don't know. I just know that it was soon. That it's going to be bad. That heaven's not happy about it. They're sad. But they're also watching in awe and wonder and waiting, and again, somber. The mood was serious and somber, but yet I could still feel the peace and joy of heaven. but the severity of the situation, and that it was soon. That I gotta go back, and so basically get ready. Stop slacking off. Things are about to get going. You need to focus. You need to pay attention. You need to do better. Like, this is serious. I don't remember if I received any message of tell them this specifically or tell them that, but I knew that that something was about to happen soon. They were waiting. I knew it was on. Like, it's on. It's beginning. The beginning, the end, or whatever. Now, this was back in 2018. So, I got accepted to seminary shortly after that. This happened in, it was either January or March I had this procedure. In May of, then in May, I had that experience where I was praying in the church and I was asking Jesus, do you want me to go to seminary or not? And if the answer is yes, I'm not going to ask you anymore. I want your mother to tell me, like, send your mother in a special way to tell me and answer these specific questions. And Lord, you got to literally spell it out for me, like 1, 2, 3, 4, A, B, C, literally, because otherwise I'm not going to believe it's from you, and I'm not going to know. Like, I'm dumb. Like, you really have to make it clear. And wouldn't you know, I said that after Mass, around 12 o'clock after Mass, on May 18th, 2018. And then a couple hours, at that very hour, a holy man named J. Smith, whose wife had cancer, I'd prayed for her and gave her a green scapular. She went into remission, all that stuff. She ended up dying a few years later, but she got healed miraculously, and after I gave her the green scapular. Apparently Jay was at home in his house at Hamden praying his rosary at that same hour. And the Blessed Mother came to him and told him, write this down, the following words, for Stephen Dinello, and give it to him. I have it somewhere. It's in storage over here, but I have the letter. And it's literally May 18th, Mary, regarding Steve. And it was everything I had asked in my heart when I was kneeling at the tabernacle. Like, Lord, am I going to go to seminary? Will I get accepted? Do you want me to be a priest? Will I get ordained? I'm not good at school, so I have a 1.67 grade point average, so how am I going to pass my studies? And if I do get ordained, am I going to be a faithful priest? Because if I'm not going to be a faithful priest, I don't want to be a priest, because I don't want to go to hell. And if I mess up, I'm going to end up in hell for sure if I become a priest and I mess up. So don't let me mess up. Otherwise, I don't want to do it. And then I said, Lord, what if I do this for you? If it's your will that I go to seminary and be a priest, what am I going to bring to the table? Like, what are my gifts? What am I going to offer you? Like, everybody's got, like, gifts and charism, something that they specialize in, something to do for you, something to offer you. I don't have anything to do. Like, what are my virtues and strengths going to be? You know what? I got the letter, but before I dig it out and show you, let me finish the story first, and this way you let me see how accurate my memory is. So I asked him, I'm like, Lord, I ask you these questions, I need to know. Please just be very clear. 1, 2, 3, 4, ABC, like exactly like that, please. Now, I don't mean to tell you what to do, Lord. I don't need to be asking for, signs and wonders, but I really need clarity. Please send your mother, please, she's the queen of the clergy, to let me know. I was expecting her to show me, to tell me, because you got to remember, I'm getting bold with my prayers now because I just saw Jesus and Mary in person a couple months earlier. So now I'm, really pumped and figure, okay, they're going to answer me for sure. So that next weekend, I decided to go to a different church for whatever reason. The following weekend, I go back, and after Mass, I see Jay. And he comes running up to me after Mass, and he's got tears in his eyes. And he's like, Stephen, he's like, where have you been? I got to talk to you. I've been looking for you. I've been trying to get a hold of you. I'm like, oh, I went to St. Mary's Church last weekend for just change it up a little bit for some reason. I don't know why. I think it's because I was running late, so it was just quicker for me to get there than to drive all the way to this church. He's like, well, I was here looking for you last week. I have to give you something. I don't have it with me now. So I need your address and stuff again. I'm like, well, I thought I gave it to you. He's like, yeah, I don't know where it is. I misplaced it. So I need you to give it to me again. I'm like, okay, what's going on? I'm like, wait, what's the matter? Why are you crying? And he's like, I'm like, is your wife okay? Did anything happen to her? Did the cancer come back? He's like, no, she's fine. I'm like, then why are you crying? He's like, tears of joy. I'm like, what's going on? What do you mean tears of joy? Does it have something to do with me? He's like, oh yeah. I'm like, okay, Jay, what is this all about? Like, I gotta send something to you. I gotta give you something. I'm like, just tell me what it is. He's like, no, you'll see when I give it to you. I'm like, well, just bring it in with you next time. He's like, no. I don't want to wait another 7 days for Mass. No, I'm mailing it out today. As soon as I leave here, I'm gonna go put it in the mail today. You gotta have this. I'm like, what is it? He's like, you'll see when you get it. Okay. So I gave him my address, my mailing address, and that was it. We parted ways. A couple days later, 2-3 days later, I get this letter. And let me go grab it, and I'll show you. Hold on. Ow. I think I have it in here somewhere. Here. I think this is... it's this one, because it came in the mail. Now, check this out. Hold on. Alright. I got a couple different miraculous things from God, but so I had prayed on May 18th, 2018. That's when I asked Jesus to send his mother, right? I saw him on the 29th, May 29th, and he mailed this out. Here's the letter. Oh, sorry. No, not May 18th. Sorry. May 10th. May 10th was the day I was praying. I saw him on like the 29th or whatever, and that's when he went and mailed it immediately that day. Okay? And here's the letter. Steve. Now you gotta understand, the next weekend, a couple days later after I received this, I received it on like a Friday. On Saturday or Sunday, at Sunday Mass, I saw Jay again. And he's like, did you get my letter? And I'm like, I did. When did you write that? He's like, I wrote it around 12 o'clock on May 10th. And I'm like, 12 o'clock? May 10th. He's like, yeah. I'm like, that was when I was here after Mass by myself, shortly after 12. The church was empty, the lights were off, and I was kneeling over here near the tabernacle. And I asked specifically, Jay, word for word, what you wrote in this letter. He's like, I know. The Blessed Mother told me to write it down. And so here it is. Steve, May 10th, 2018. Mary, regarding Steve. 1. Literally. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, ABC. Like I asked the Lord. 1. He will be accepted into the seminary. Yes. Underlined. 2. He will complete the training. I left. 3. He will remain faithful to God during his priestly life. Remember how I asked God, am I going to be faithful? 4. He will remain fast in practicing. Remember how I said, Lord, what am I going to offer you? Like, what are my gifts? He will remain fast in practicing the 3 theological virtues of A, faith, B, hope, C, charity. Our Mother Mary confided in me that you have been summoned. SUMMONED. Our Mother Mary confided in me that you have been summoned. Now it gets even better. One year to the day in May 29th, 2019, I got my official letter of acceptance to the seminary in the mail. The same exact day, okay, that 1 year later that I received this letter in the mail. Now this letter was written on May 10th, 2018. On May 10th, 2019, I had been on my 3rd and final come and see at the seminary in Wisconsin. And I had my meeting that morning on May 10th, 2019. And in that meeting, I was given a handshake and the approval and a congratulations, saying, congratulations, you've been accepted to the seminary. We'll go home, get your bags packed, sell your house, whatever you got to do. We'll see you in August. A few days later, on May 29th, 1 year to the day that this letter came, I get a letter in the mail from the seminary with the official acceptance letter. And it came in the mail on May 29th, 2019. This one came in on May 29th, 2018. And when I looked at the date that it was typed up, the acceptance letter, the day it was May 10th, 2019. That was the day that I prayed to Mary, and that was the day she appeared to Jay Smith in Hamden, Connecticut, and told him to write this letter for me. Now, in January 19th, 2019, before I got officially accepted into the seminary, Father Bill McCarthy, MSA, my spiritual director, had called me to come to see him at a retreat up in Moodus, Connecticut, at my father's house. It's called My Father's House, or Our Father's House, in Moodus, Connecticut. I'm like, Father, I'm really busy right now. Like, there's supposed to be a snowstorm coming. I don't have money for the retreat. I don't have a car right now. And I'd have to borrow someone's car, and there's a blizzard coming and all that stuff. Like, I really can't make it. He's like, you're coming here. The Lord wants you to come here. I'm like, why? I've been to that retreat 3 times already. I mean, I love you, Father, but really, like, I'm going to drive an hour in a snowstorm with a snowstorm coming. I'm going to be stuck up there. I have to borrow Donna's car. She's not going to, I don't know if she's going to let me borrow the car. Like, I really don't think that this is a good idea right now. He's like, you're going to come here. I'm like, okay, I don't have $200 for the retreat. He goes, I already paid for your room. You're coming. You paid for it for me? Yep. Stephen, the Lord's going to provide a way for you to get up here, so don't worry. You're going to have the car. I'm like, okay, fine. If I can get a car, I will come. But what's this all about? Just get up here, and you'll see. So I packed my stuff. I asked Donna. She said, yeah, you can borrow my car for the weekend. Okay, but there's a snowstorm coming. That's fine. I trust you. All right. So I go up there. The first day, I'm like, okay, I've already sat through this Life in the Spirit seminar 3 times already. This is my 3rd time now. It's boring. I've already heard it all. Whatever. So I leave while everybody's, in the middle. And I go to the chapel by myself. And I get down on my knees and I literally hug, wrap my arms around the tabernacle and put my head up against the door to the tabernacle. And I talk to Jesus. And I'm like, Lord, I know you're in here, and I need, I don't know why I'm here. Like, why did you summon me to come up here? Like, Father's not even spending time with me. He's talking to some girl. He hasn't even spent time with me. He said hi, and that was it. He's not sitting at the same table with me. Why am I here? Because he's not even spending time with me. This girl is taking all his time. Like, I can't even get to him. She's just talking the whole day. Like, I can't even say hi to him. Like, so I'm getting frustrated. So, why am I here, Lord? And then I said, can you please do what you do and speak to me through Father Bill? And then I said, all right, Lord, I got to go. I'm going to go back to get lunch. It's lunch, lunchtime soon. And, they're going to be taking a break for lunch or whatever. So I'm going to go back and, I guess, wait to see what happens. So I go in there. Hour later, we break for lunch. Father Bill, instead of eating, goes into the chapel, sits behind the altar, and starts journaling or something. I don't know. He does that. He goes and starts writing things and whatever he hears from the Lord. Now, mind you, another reason why I didn't want to go up there and see Father Bill was because I had started the process of applying to seminary, and I didn't tell him. Because a couple months earlier, when I was up there last, I had talked to him, and he said, Stephen, don't even bother. In order for you to get into seminary at your age and with your health and everything, after being rejected from a couple other orders already, you have very high walls to climb. Impossibly high. It would take a literal miracle for you to get accepted into seminary. So I'm like, so do I have your blessing to apply or not? He's like, I wouldn't bother, because it would take a literal miracle. So I took that as, okay, I guess it's up to me. He's not giving me a straight answer. He's basically telling me it's never going to happen. So I got discouraged. I wanted his blessing, and he wouldn't give it to me. And he just kept saying it's going to take a miracle from God for you to get into seminary. So it wasn't looking good. So I didn't tell him that I decided to apply to seminary. I didn't tell him that I had already started the process and that I was supposed to be flying out there for my first evaluation and come and see, and there was psych evals and all these things you had to do. It was a long process and a long application process. I didn't tell him. I was hiding it from him. I wasn't sure. I didn't think I was going to get in, and I didn't want to have to tell him I got rejected. You were right. So I wasn't going to tell him at all. If I got rejected, I wasn't even going to tell him I bothered. I kind of forgot that he's got a connection with the Lord and he knows, kind of like Padre Pio. So anyway, I'm having lunch, salad, pizza, whatever, sandwiches. Lunch is almost over and we're about to start the second half of the retreat day. And all of a sudden, Father Bill comes up to me at the table. And he puts his arm on my shoulder. He goes, "Why didn't you tell me you applied to go to seminary?" I'm like, how did you know? He's like, "Jesus told me." I'm like, "He did. I was afraid of that." "I'm your spiritual director." "Yeah? You're supposed to talk to me about these things." Well, why didn't you tell me, Stephen? I didn't want you to say no. Like, I know how you get, and last time you told me it was never going to happen. I had big walls or mountains to climb, and it was going to take a miracle for me to get in. So I didn't tell you that I started the process. He goes, "I told you that it would take a miracle. I never said no, and I never said it was impossible. I told you had big walls to climb, and it would take a literal miracle from God for you to get into seminary. Next time, don't ever keep anything away from me. I'm your spiritual director. Don't do that. Don't hide things from your spiritual director." And he goes, "Here's your miracle." And he rips this page out of his journal and he hands it to me. And I'm like, "What's this?" He goes, "Read it. The Lord told me to write that for you." And this is what it says. He goes, "Read it to me." I'm like, "Okay." "My precious..." Oh, and by the way this is written, the Lord used words that Father Bill could not have known. There's the way he talked to me. I asked him, I said, "Jesus," when I was at the tabernacle, in my heart, I said, "Lord, where do I stand with you? Like, do you still love me? Are you angry at me? You know, like, am I still like your beloved, cherished son? Am I your son?" Like, you know, I asked him all these, like, enduring, like, heart-to-heart things. Father Bill was not even anywhere near the chapel. He didn't read my mind. He couldn't have known what I asked the Lord. I asked the Lord specific questions, and word for word, he specifically answered those questions. Just like he would do in a few months later through this letter. "My precious and most beloved son, my Stephen, yes, I love you abundantly. It's hard to read his writing. I think it's not absurdly. It's got to be abundantly. "Yes, I love you abundantly. Yet I am not pleased with you. I am not pleased when you run away from me and deliberately sin. You need not to frequently do that. Repent and truly accept my abundant graces to stop all, underlined all, sin. All sin. He said it twice. To stop all sin. Dash all sin. You now have all the graces to do that. You will sell your house and you'll be able... Oh man, he read it to me because I had trouble reading it. So his writing is terrible. Okay, you will sell your house and you'll be able to pay for some... Oh, you will be able to pay off some of your many debts. Ask the order to pay for the rest and go. You will need a van to transport all that. You will need a van to transport all that is not necessary for a growth in holiness. Leave behind. And by the way, I left almost a fully loaded house to the people who bought the place. Almost fully furnished. I sold a lot of stuff and paid off debts, and then I still left a lot of my worldly possessions to the new owners. A lot of expensive good stuff. I will help you to decide what to bring. Go and really step into the life, the religious life. I will transform you and heal you. You will be fine. Go in peace. That was it. That was Jesus. And again, I asked him in my heart, in the chapel, at the tabernacle, I said, Lord, do you still love me? Are you angry at me? I feel like you're angry at me. I asked him about, I needed graces or whatever. I asked him if I was going to get into seminary. Because this was on January 19th, 2019. And this letter had come to me on May 10th, 2018. And Father Bill, I guess, wasn't aware of it or didn't believe it was really the Blessed Mother or whatever. And so that's what got me discouraged, because I knew that the Blessed Mother had said I was going. But Father Bill said it would take a miracle. And I'm like, I have my miracle. She said I'm going. He's like, Stephen, come on. You have big walls. Your health is bad. Your you're old, you have no education, no college degree, you're 39, you're 38 years old, like you've been rejected from other orders. My order rejected you. It's not going to happen without a miracle. So then, that was May, that was after May sometime. So May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, January. So 8 months later, Jesus tells my spiritual director personally, he is going. I did summon him. So he is going. And Father Bill was like, well, Lord, he didn't tell me. I didn't know. I thought he gave up on it. I told him he was an evangelist because he asked me, well, what's he supposed to do with his life, if he doesn't become a priest? And you told me to tell him he's an evangelist, so I told him that, and so that's how Father Bill used to talk to the Lord, I guess, So anyway, I asked Jesus, I said, Lord, your mother said, that's what it was. I said, Lord, I need to know, did your mother really, was that really Mary? Like, am I really going? Can I trust it? Was it really her? And I said, you got to let me know through Father Bill, because Father Bill doesn't know yet. I didn't tell him. So if it's really your will that I go, please have Father Bill tell me. And he did. And I said, Lord, how am I supposed to get there? I have a lot of debts to pay off. I'd have to sell my trailer. Am I going to be able to make enough money to sell my trailer and pay off my debt? And I'm going to need a van or something. How am I going to get to Wisconsin? And he answered it all here. You'll sell your trailer. You'll pay off your debts. You're going to need a van. Take only what's necessary. I did take more stuff than was necessary. And go. Maybe that's another thing. I disobeyed because I brought a lot of stuff still, like furniture and things that I didn't want to part with, but I got rid of a lot of stuff. But I did bring personal stuff, Maybe he wanted me to leave everything. I don't know. And really step in, and I didn't. Maybe I was too attached to stuff. I don't know. But anyway. And then the Lord gave me a prophetic dream right before the buyers of the house. He sent me an Asian family to buy the house before I even put it on the market. After I had this dream that they were coming, and I wake up and they're knocking on the door. He made me really tired. I go to lay down. I have this dream. I wake up and they're at my door. We buy now. Then I said, okay, but I got to get a realtor first. I'll call you. And then I got on my knees. I said, Lord, I need a realtor. Where am I going to get a realtor? And my phone rings, literally. And it's a realtor. And she goes, hi, Mr. Dill, do you need a realtor? I'm like, yes, I do, actually. I haven't. How did you know? She goes, I don't know. I just saw your name, that you're an owner of this property or whatever, and I was just kind of, for some reason, something told me to contact you. You might want to sell, and I'm like, yeah, I just figured that out today, actually, and I was just about to look for a realtor, and she goes, oh, well, I'll do it. I'm like, okay, great. She ended up getting me more money than expected, so I had more than enough to even leave Donna $2,000 to help fix her car, which she didn't do with it, and to pay off all my debts and go. Then, all that other stuff happened. Now, after I got back from seminary, I came back in February 2020. That man, Jay, who the Blessed Mother came to the first time and had him write this letter, he gets another visit, I guess, from the Blessed Mother. On July 20th, 2020. I must have failed, or when I left seminary, or something went wrong, because the Blessed Mother said, Steve, you are now called to be a brother in accord with God's will. You should use your acting skills and social media knowledge to move forward. Contact Brother Jay at the St. Monica's Parish Priest House, and he can assist you. I did go and contact that Brother Jay. He did not assist me. Another one. So Jay Smith, on August 10th, 2020, gets another message from the Blessed Mother for me. Steve, enclosed is a book that provides some very interesting information about the Freemasons and the United States of America. The first 40 pages are slow, but then it gets rolling along. Mary said, I asked Mary, was Stephen's father in the Freemason Masonic temple? Mary said yes. I asked the Blessed Mother, was Stephen's father a leader in the temple? Mary said no. I asked the Blessed Mary, is the Elks organization as a whole, has the Elks, my father was an Elks Lodge member, by the way. He was a member of the Elks, the Benevolent Police Society, the Elks. Has the Elks organization as a whole been taken over by the Freemasons? Mary said no. Has the Hartford Archdiocese Seminary been taken over by any Freemason teachings or any evil teachers? Mary said yes. Has Larry Tiani been influenced by these teachers? Mary said yes. Oh, shoot. Oops. Sorry, Jay. Steve, this information is for your eyes only and absolutely no one else. Oh boy. Sorry, Jay. I forgot it said that in here. Mary said, Jay asked Mary, will Steve eventually set up a study group of the Acts, ACTS, party, or Acts, of the Acts group, particularly or specifically for Divine Mercy? And she said yes. Now this is going back to 2020. I never ended up doing that. I tried, but my priest would not allow me. Nobody would allow me to start this group. I wanted to do a group where we recite the Divine Mercy and all that stuff and teach about Divine Mercy. But I was denied. Then he wrote here, I have nothing else at this time. Down the road, 3 or 4 weeks, I will get together with you. I will contact you to set up a date. Be patient with me. His wife was sick at the time. P.S. If you are still interested in the Stony Creek Fife and Drum group, because I had just joined them at the time, tread lightly. Use it as a new beginning. Steve, try really hard not to pontificate, or you could lose your new beginning. Jay. Well, wouldn't you know, I pontificated, I guess, too much when I was a member of the Stony Creek Fife and Drum Corps. Some of them are involved in like Freemasons and all that stuff, and I didn't like that. I didn't want to join them. I didn't feel comfortable hanging out with a bunch of people. I loved them all. They were all nice to me. But I never was accepted. Like, they never really invited me to their private house parties and camping trips. They never let me in. Like, they were a very tight-knit drum corps. And they all grew up together. Their whole families were in the corps for generations. I was an outsider. And because of my extreme pontificate, religious beliefs, and my anti-Freemasonry, fraternity, feelings, they always were nice to me, but kept a distance, I'd go to the rehearsals, do the parades with them, do the practices with them and stuff, but they never really, they were always very nice to me, but they never hung out with me much outside of the drum corps activities or parades. It was always because, I guess, my religious views, like they drink, they party, whatever. They like to have a good time. They're not church-going people. And then there was me. So I just ended up, and then my health got so bad, and I needed to have my surgery, and I couldn't march in the drum corps anymore, and I didn't have the money to travel all over the world with them to Washington, D.C. and Ireland, and, all these fun trips that they all do every year, and it was getting harder and harder for me to walk. I have, like, this tumor or whatever on my bone that's very painful on my left hip, and it's excruciating. It's hurting me right now. And I had, the neurological damage and the Guillain-Barré disease and the quadriplegia and all the pain, the major surgery and everything. So I had to quit the drum corps because of my health. I couldn't march with them anymore. So that only lasted about 2 years, and then I left, I think, in 2022, I think I quit the drum corps, maybe 2023. So I was only there for 2-3 years, and then I left. It was a short-lived stint. I had a lot of fun with them. I really loved them all. But I kept telling them, I'm like, guys, you're always having pool parties and beach parties and house parties and stuff, but I'm never invited. Why? Oh, Steve, it wouldn't be for you. We like to smoke weed. We like to drink. We get rowdy. We're up all night. It's not something for you. Like, we just feel like we can't be ourselves when you're around because you're like too holy and just kind of like, it's awkward. It's like trying to have a party with a priest there, and I'm like, well, maybe you guys need to tone it down a bit and grow up, and maybe no, it's not good for you to be there. We don't want to, what did they say? They didn't want to pollute me or get me involved in sin or something like that. So whatever. They were very nice about it. Very great people. Awesome drum corps. And I loved the music and I loved them. But I joined them so I can make friends with other men. Like, I wanted to have guy friends that are not just church related, but just normal friends to hang out with and something of a common interest. I love the Civil War era. I love the country, our country. I love the fife and drum music and the history and the costumes, and I love performing and all that. So I joined the Corps, but my health got worse and worse, and I couldn't handle it. I couldn't carry the heavy equipment or drums. I couldn't do the repetitive motions. I get paralysis in my face, so I couldn't blow in the fife and I couldn't use my finger. I just couldn't do the instruments because of my disease, my spinal damage. So I ended up becoming color guard and had to carry a heavy flag for miles in the heat, in the cold, in the wind. And it was too much for me. It kept pulling on my neck and back, and I can't lift my arms very long. And so it was literally cutting into my spinal cords. I was getting worse and worse. So I had to tell them, like, guys, I'm so sorry, but I got to quit the Corps. I can't. I love it. I look forward to practice every Thursday. I like to be around you guys and see, and hang out, make music with you, and it breaks my heart to have to, but honestly, at that point, though, they were like, oh, okay, then no, that's fine, Steve, whatever. They didn't care. They didn't really like me, like, they didn't hate me or dislike me, I wasn't one of them, I was never going to be one of them. I was never going to be able to fit in with them, you know what I mean? Like, I just wasn't part of the inner circle, and I wasn't willing to go deeper and, like, join a branch of the Masons or any of that stuff, and so therefore I had to go, and it was a lot of just drinking. I mean, they would do before, even early in the morning, before every parade, they'd go and get drunk and do a pub crawl. And then right after, it would be hours and hours of pub crawls. And then they would go camping, and it would just be drink, 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 no sleep for 2-3 days at a time until they pass out drunk, like a bunch of pirates, And it was, when I was younger, it might have been fun in my teens and 20s, but at almost 40 years old, that's not for me. Like, some of these guys are older than me, some of them are younger than me, but they drink like fish, and they smoke the cigarettes, and they use their foul language, and they they're very partying people, and I can't do that as a Christian. So you got, bad company corrupts good morals, and like I said, they're good people. Like, they were really good to me, nice, very caring. I loved them. I still miss them, but they don't miss me. The feeling wasn't mutual. They were very nice and respectful to me always, very kind to me, but didn't really talk to me much, didn't spend time with me. When we'd go to the musters for the Deep River and stuff, other than performing with them, there was nothing to talk about. I would be alone, walking around bored, wishing Jeannie was still alive. Because if Jeannie was alive and with me, she would have. And she loved going to the Fife and Drum musters every year with her friends, and she would have been so proud of me. She would have gone to every parade with me. She would have gone and shared the tent with me, and gone to all the musters with me, and we'd probably be married, and I'd have a Fife and Drum wife as well, but anyway, so Jay was right. He said, don't pontificate, or you're going to blow your new beginning with them, your new chance at a new social life and job connections and stuff. But of course, I can't shut off the preaching, so, or as they say, pontificating. So I'm no longer a part of the Fife and Drum, and I don't see or talk to those people anymore, although I think most of them are still on my Facebook page. So anyway, so now you know that I'm not lying, and I literally have proof, and I've got so many more stories, and so many more boxes over there of proof. Like when I asked the Blessed Mother, I would really like something from Medjugorje now. And then after Mass one day, I think it was Cindy Baker, somebody I hadn't even known who she was at the time, the secretary at church. She came up to me, and it was miraculous because she literally walked up to me after Mass. I didn't even know who she was. She goes, "Hello, Stephen." I'm like, "Hi." She goes, "You asked the Blessed Mother for something from Medjugorje?" And I'm like, "I did. How did you know that?" She goes, "Well, here, this came from Medjugorje. She wanted you to have it." And I'm like, I said that in my bedroom, in my mind, in my bedroom, before I came here today. I said, "Mother, I asked for a statue from Fatima, and you miraculously got it to me. I asked for, every time I ask you for something, you get it to me. I want scapulas, you get them to me. I needed a medal, you got it for me. I would really like something from Medjugorje. Something that's been at the apparition site from Medjugorje. I already have something from the apparition site from Fatima. Now I would like something from Medjugorje. And at the end of Mass, I'm walking out of the church, and Cindy Baker, I think it was her, this pretty blonde lady, she comes up to me. I didn't know who she was. She knew my name, and she goes, Stephen, she goes, hi. She goes, Mary, the Blessed Mother said that you had asked for something specifically from Medjugorje, from the apparition site that's been blessed. And I'm like, yes, I did. She goes, well, here it is. She goes, this came from Medjugorje, and it was blessed by a priest at the apparition site. And you know what? Just to prove to you I'm not making this up, I don't lie, folks. I don't lie. I know that my stories are very unbelievable and supernatural, and some people would say, well, it could be the devil, you know. I don't know. I doubt it. I really doubt it. But either way, it really happens. Ow, sorry, I can't walk right now. Sorry, Maverick, I'm waking you up, buddy. I'm sorry, I know, we never sleep in this house, right? We never sleep in this house because I'm cuckoo crazy. I'm up all night long. Oh, here's my blessed salt and my exorcism waters and my exorcism salt and my epiphany water. And, I got a lot of rosaries and stuff from famous sites around the world. Where is it? Where is it? Oh, these are all important. This is from when I was in my religious order, Priest of the Sacred Heart. I've got all kinds of relic things in here. Hold on a minute. I know it's got to be in here somewhere. Here it is. I found it. Here it is. You ready? This came from Medjugorje. It's a crucifix. And it's got the Saint Benedict medal inside of it. Okay, behind Jesus. And this literally was purchased at the apparition site in Medjugorje and was blessed by a priest there at Medjugorje. And so I asked our Blessed Mother Mary, could she please somehow get me something from her, a gift from my Blessed Mother from Medjugorje. And in less than a day, maybe a few hours later, it was already on its way to me. And a woman came up to me after Mass and said, did you ask the Blessed Mother for something from Medjugorje that was blessed by a priest from the apparition site? I'm like, yes, I did. Well, here you go. Mary told me to give this to you, so here it is. I'm like, hallelujah. Thank you. Thank you, Mama. Thank you, Mother. So, and by the way, that was all before I went to seminary. Like, that was all years. That was probably when I was still in my 20s that happened. Maybe early 30s. I used to walk in literal miracles and what we call signal graces that the Blessed Mother promises to those who are consecrated to her and who wear her scapula, her green scapula, her brown scapula, and her miraculous medal, and say the prayers on them every day, which I do. Oh my goodness, it's almost 5 o'clock in the morning, and I gotta go to church. I gotta shower, and I gotta go to church in the morning. So I'm gonna try to get, oh man, I'm not even tired. That's the thing. Like, I'm not even tired. When I'm talking about all this stuff, it really pumps me up. It gives me energy. I just love it. I can't get enough of it. Plus, I got up late today again anyway. I don't remember what time I got up. I overslept through my alarm, and I think I got up... Oh, that's why. I literally didn't get out of bed until almost 6 p.m., I think, tonight. Was that tonight or was that last night? Yesterday? I don't remember. Yesterday or the day before, it was like 4 p.m. my alarm hasn't been going off. I set it for a certain time and then I sleep through, but sometimes I don't go to sleep until between 7 and 11 in the morning, and I try to get a few hours of sleep, and I usually set my alarm for 1 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and I end up waking up between 4 and 6 p.m. and I'm like, man, and then I'm hustling to try to get things done, but there's a lot of stuff that has to be done during the week, Monday through Friday, during business hours, 9 to 5, and I end up not getting things done because, like right now, I'm supposed to be taking my levothyroxine within an hour, around 6, 8, and I'm supposed to take this at nighttime before bed, but I didn't go to bed, so my cholesterol med, I'm going to take it now. My schedule has been so off. I sleep for a few hours during the day, and then I'm going. I keep a gallon of distilled water by my bed because that's what I use to brush my teeth, and that's what I drink because we can't drink the water here in the park. Something about the water is bad or whatever. It makes you sick, and the dog won't even drink it. He gets sick too. So we drink just distilled water or spring water because I need to use distilled water for my CPAP or BiPAP machine. You need special water. Anyway, so that's it, folks. I'm gonna try to get ready for bed now. But I don't even remember. That was a long video. Wow. Oh man, I keep forgetting. I should have been filming this on my YouTube channel. I keep forgetting. I should have not done a Facebook Live because they don't let us keep these anymore. They delete them after a certain time. So, alright, anyway, I'm going to go. This is already long enough, and nobody's watching this, and nobody's going to watch the whole thing. Nobody has time to watch the whole thing. But you guys miss out on so much good information and true stories that, if only you would watch these videos in entirety, you would really get to know me and all the things God does, and it would really benefit and increase your faith. But I understand I yammer on for hours, and nobody has time to sit on social media for hours, and nobody cares, and nobody believes it anyway, and whatever. So I try. But anyway, we started this video talking about how I figured out what those dreams were about, the missiles and stuff, and the prophetic dreams, and how I know that they were actually prophetic, and these are going back 12, 15 years I had that dream. And so here we are, and it looks like it's all happening now. So God must have showed me that we were going to have a major World War III or whatever, and America was going to be nuked and invaded or whatever by Russia and China. And I still don't understand why what Japan is going to have to do with it. But yeah, so all we can do is see. But Russia is definitely a given, and China. These are the countries that are not in NATO. And so they're not our allies, they're our enemies, and they're enemies of NATO, and they're going to be a problem. They're also the three other powers in the world that are next to America, give us a run for our money and are very dangerous. You don't want Russia or China or any of these countries coming after you, Iran, and you certainly don't want them all teaming up and coming after you. And that's what they're doing now. Again, we are in the last days of the end times. The tribulation is beginning and all that. And so it was supposed to happen, folks. It was a matter of time. You knew this, right? I mean, how can you be a Christian if you don't know this? So, do not be surprised. And that's it. That's all I got. So get to church today. It's Sunday. Go to church. There's 9 and 11 a.m. masses. Make sure you go to confession before receiving Holy Communion. Make sure you're receiving a state of grace. Then go to confession. Go to Mass. Go to Mass often. Read your Bible. Pray. Preach. Do whatever you can for the Lord. And hurry up because we don't have much time left. So, that's it. I'm out. God bless. Viva Cristo Rey.